Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Full Length Cup Challenge. This evening, 2026 kicks off. We are excited to be bringing you the kickoff to the brand new season, the Clash 2, from iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including the FLCC, the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series, and Fast Fridays. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince. Alongside with the booth for the start of the brand new season is Kirk Mills. Howie Burrows is our producer to start off 2026. Tonight, it's time to get your Survivor music playing, Kirk, to be able to survive the meeting and who's able to survive Daytona. Because tonight, we see who gets to win the challenge.
Oh, it's going to be a real hard night tonight for these guys. It's going to be only 20 cars making it to the end of this thing. And all I know is that I'm just so excited for a new year. These guys have worked all off-season to try and get their cars ready to go, get their teams put together. So many silly season changes in the off-season. Now we got ourselves one hell of a run for the start of 2026. I'm real excited.
6 heat races is the cap for tonight, as you just seen on screen, with up to 2 LCQs, up to 20 drivers. We'll get the chance to be that one champion for this event. Last year, when it came to the FLCC, it was Jonathan Delaney who picked up the win in the Clash. But Daytona, open since 1959. What else can you say, Kirk? The World Series of Racing will expect speeds of upwards of near 200 miles an hour tonight. You have to be able to tame the pack.
Yeah, it's amazing how the studded history here at Daytona. I got to tell you, I went back and rewatched some of the 1959, 1960 type footage, the 15-minute little newsreels, and I found out Richard Petty in one of them races wore a dang polo in the race car. Very much not a fire suit or anything like that. But I got to tell you tonight, you mentioned Jonathan Delaney. He won last year, but he didn't just win the Clash last year. He also won the entirety of what they like to call the King of the Super Speedways point standings. Out of 7 super speedways, he had the best average finish, and that guy was just able to do really well. And out of the 7, he's got top 5 in 5 of them. He's going to be hard to beat tonight.
He's going to be definitely somebody we expect to dish it out and battle it out, to say the very least. Then you break down some of the other drivers tonight. You have Precision Speed Solutions that's brought together a full contingent of drivers. They've also added the defending champion over the offseason, and actually in the lead up to last season's championship race. The team added Lucas Hoytsma to its ranks. Hoytsma, the defending series champion, should be another one of those threats because he also did very well in the super speedways also.
Oh yeah, he's going to be hard to beat for sure. I can tell you right now, looking at him, he's one of those guys. He finished 3rd in the King of the Super Speedway run, only barely missing out on the top spot. He has a great chance of winning. He won at Talladega last year, but Daytona's a different animal. It's almost the same thing, but not quite. You don't got as much room. The only thing I could say is so much silly season changes has happened. It's probably going to take us a few races to be able to catch up on all the business. But I could say that it's just going to be something that's going to be worth keeping an eye on. These are some of what I believe are the best real drivers that are actually going to go out there and try and compete on these racetracks, not anybody that uses 200 degrees of rotation.
Heat 1 is set to come up next. We have a grand total of 45 cars eligible to race tonight. Your maximum capacity field to start off the brand new season. So as they'll advance onto the heats, we'll find out how each of the drivers will be placed here to be able to try and win tonight. After all, it's about outwitting, outplaying, and outlasting your competitors to move on to the final challenge. So as the lights start to turn on here at Daytona, it's time to go heat racing. Here's how Heat 1's played out. Cliff Mullins will start on the pole for it, with Tanner Marti in the 2nd spot. Then row number 2, that's going to be one of the right-go-back machines, and Alan Duggar. Tower Hunter, he'll start in the 4th position. Nicholas Vroman, he's now a part of Team Conti officially for the start of this season after spending much of the season with them. Then Bobby Anderson will start in the 6th position, switching to a Toyota. Billy Brickley starts off in 7th position tonight. Alongside of the field is Dustin Hall. Then, rounding up the top 10, keep an eye on this driver. He runs for the team called the Short Little Occasional Winners in this series. It's Cody Porter. The well-known team owner will start alongside Evan Benefield with them as well. Alex Murray and Edward Sherr Jr., those two expect to hook up a part of this 12-car field here.
Man, it's just 12 cars, and only, I think they said 2 cars can make it to the next end at the end of this first and second place. It's going to be hard to be the ones that actually make it to the top 2. In this particular field, I only see really 2 names that I didn't see that often last year. Cody Porter is one of them, and the other one would be Alan Duggar. They showed up maybe once or twice, but this is the first time that I could say that we see them back here again. We'll see how long they make it throughout the season. But it's good to see some newcomers going out there. Obviously, they have experience in other forms of the motorsport, but here they are here for the full-length Cup Challenge. It's going to be pretty awesome to watch.
And the key thing to consider is they skipped heats 5 and 6 in the iRacing session. So there's only 4 total heats for these drivers to move on to the final. And then you have those consolation races that'll determine how things play out. Remember, no cautions count for laps here tonight when it comes to your heat races. But overall, your expectations here and your keys to be able to move on and get yourself to the top 2 as quick as possible.
Well, I'd say if you are in the back of the field, the only thing you could really do is just manipulate the draft. Try to get the cars in front of you. Use some side draft. It's going to be they're going to use a vast array of things, but forget trying to actually get from the back to the front. It's more entertaining to watch how they do it, not let alone talk about it. I'm just excited to see who's going to be it. I got a good pick to see who's going to win this thing. I'd like to keep my eye on Tanner Marty, Tyler Hunter, and Bobby Anderson. Those are my picks to keep an eye on for this heat.
So let's have some fun. We're happy to have you with us for today's action of the FLCC. The Boogity Boogities will come on later, but the field will go to the green flag here. 10 laps on the board. Heat number 1 is underway from Daytona.
The pole center just vanished on the screen. Holy cow, look out.
Well, that's definitely not the good tone set to start off your season. You blink right at the green flag, and already the inside line with the better run. Here it comes Vroom Vroom.
No doubt about it, that car stands out more than any other car in your picture right there. He's on the outside line. He uses it as a weapon, really. And I tell you what, it works. If you're ever behind that car, it becomes an eyesore.
Roman going to be someone to watch for all night long, to say the least. The 95 is already getting the assistance from Tanner Marty in one of the Lunar Racing Performance cars. Already, though, it's Mullins who leads the first lap. 9 laps to go already. It's a 3-car tandem, and that should be expected. As people expect with this package, momentum's everything. Those drivers in the 3rd position in line better push if you want to get that outside moving.
About keeping a straight line here. That outside line's doing a great job of doing just that. You're going to see them give a little shot here from the 5, trying to make that outside line move, but the bottom line still able to maintain heading into 3.
Inside still has the better numbers right here. And eventually somebody's going to have to make a bold move, because a lot of the big names are at the back of this field, like Benefield, like Hall, like Sherr Jr., like Murray still boxed in here. That's why you're seeing 3 wide. And contact!
Dustin Hall!
No caution coming up. Dustin Hall spun to the inside. We stay green. Bryson Hickson Paul waves it off as let's take a look at a quick replay.
3 wide there. The 5 car tried to make a move. Nobody went with him. And the 5 thought he was clear. Not quite. That sends the 1 car for a slide.
And that's going to completely take the 1 car out of it. And Bobby Anderson out of it as well. Meanwhile, guess who's to 3rd? Normally outside the series, the co-owner of Express Esports. That is Cody Porter. He's one of the drivers that we know has been able to raise up the ranks. Drivers like Johnny Avila, who was originally from the Nexus camp, been able to build up speed with Avila being one of the top products from the 63 car you'll see later tonight. But for Porter, the focus for the series is try and not live up to your acronym. You're not slow if you're up front here, as some of these drivers are bumping within the bumpers.
I mean, that outside line just died. You can see that. Where they go, they're gone. That's what. Now, the issue here for these guys is now you're single file. It's going to be very difficult for you to be able to make a move towards the... Oh, look out! There goes the 00 spinning. Billy Brickley.
Brickley going around to the inside wall. Hard contact. We stay green. That was the Speed World Hobbies car. And remember what we talked about at Echo Park? Arrow loose can happen where you get someone underneath the spoiler.
That is a rare type of crash to see, but hate to see it for Billy. Hopefully he'll be able to get in through the consolation race here in a little while.
Halfway coming up this time by, and Cliff Mullins continues to hold firm at the front. Look at this,
these
though.
Two. Yeah.
Yeah, tandem draft. The Conti cars are trying to work together.
You know that they work together all the time. They practice this. They know how to get to the front. These two, they are some of the best at doing this type of thing here. They got fast sets, fast cars, and these things are going straight to the front. And it's only 3 cars. That 29 isn't helping much, but he's there anyway. Take a look at them. Already up to second now, side by side with the 10 car.
Having the chance to be able to get ahead of Mullins here. Can they clear?
Oh!
And there's the hip check! Mullins inside wall! He's trying to slide it away, but no caution.
Wow. He was not clear. I think it was a bad push, but let's take a look up here. See Vroman there, 83's going... Yeah, that was just either a bad push or just got shot down the hill, and the 44 was in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Cliff Mullins did avoid the wall. So the driver who was in the 40s in points last season, 8 starts for Mullins in 2025, is no longer going to be able to advance. Adam Benefield with that. That's a way to take the lead, I guess you could say. Duggar now the pusher. Porter, the first one out, coming to 3 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a guy like Vroman right now, you got to hope somebody pulls out. That 83 got to the lead because of Vroman's pushing. He was able to get there. Now he's hanging back a little bit, trying to get a good run, and now someone's making a move to the top, but he's not going with them.
Oh, it's going to be, in fact, the Precision Speed Solution cars trying to move on up. That's Sure Jr. getting the push from Murray. You know, they've been working pretty hard to be able to get up to speed. We've seen last year in particular, Murray won a race to be able to compete in the postseason. Only reason he didn't really advance further was he missed a race with his karting commitments. Now, he's trying to lead the outside line, coming to 2 laps to go, and no one else is moving up yet.
Take a look at that second car in line on the bottom, that 10 car. You know, I think he's in a good spot right now, but he's got to keep his eyes in the mirror. He's got 2 lines that are coming with a head of steam. Here we come to the white, 2 laps to go here.
Field holds on the bottom. Here's Duggar now, pinched down to the bottom as well. Sure Jr. a little bit farther out without some pushes though. Sure Jr. in several leagues has looked solid. He's been a long-time sim racer, competed with some big teams. He's been one of the main admins as of late when it comes to PSS. And now he gets blocked off by Benefield. Benefield blocking the lanes. Benefield to the bottom. Now 3 wide. Here comes Vroman. 3 wide for the race lead as the 94 goes to the point.
No help on the top side, but that middle lane's got the momentum. Man, look at that. That's phenomenal. Up to the front. Murray pushing short.
White flag coming out. Final time around. Murray contact with Porter. Porter doors him back. Murray gets sent down to the infield by Cody Porter. That's not going to bring out a caution. We've already taken the white flag, but here comes Benefield on the shove. To the back straightaway we go. Somebody's going to have to move back to the outside here. Sure Jr. getting pushed way far out by Benefield. Here comes Duggar. He's found help from Tyler Hunter. Side by side, now for the race win. Duggar looking to do well on debut. Byron up on the box. Duggar gets ahead. Can Hunter push himself into the show? 3 wide for the transfer. It is going to be Duggar with the win, but in second, it's Schurer Jr. by 3/1,000ths of a second over Tyler Hunter.
Well, I'll be, man, that's a good way to start the year. Man, that was one heck of a finish. Schurer Jr., Duggar, going straight on to the big thing. That's awesome.
So how about that? Alan Duggar on debut wins a heat race in the chance to move on to the final, but this started off the craziness. Mullins with a big save.
I swear we saw 4 of the same crash. That happened throughout the run. Billy Brickley happened to him. The 44 happened to him. Man, it just felt like that happened quite a bit. 22 even had it happen to him.
That looked like third car back that caused that in the midst of the chaos. And then this sends around Murray right down pit road on the final lap.
And look at this. It's 4 wide for second right here. This is coming to the white. Here we go. So this is the white flag. There goes the 22 going spinning. But 4 wide to the line for second place. You see Vroman go for a spin afterwards. But I got to say, that was one heck of a finish of a race.
So we know which to advance, but Heat 2 will bring a whole new trip of drivers to battle it on out. We're about to find out how those 11 in this heat will race it out here at Daytona. Here's a look at how they'll start. Brandon Hastings on the pole. Johnny Avila will start in second spot. Expect him to be quick here tonight and much of the season. Paul Gallimore will start in third spot. Rich Kleiman will start in the 4th position in 7 car. Then it's Paul Hill who'll start in 5th. One of the contenders for the championship last year, Corey Moore, makes an appearance. He'll start 6th. Neil Pearson will start off in the 7th spot. Evan Mesnard starts off in 8th. And then one of the newcomers tonight, this is Ryan Von Henschel. That will make an appearance in 9th. Alex Princeton alongside. It's Raymond Root, the last of the drivers in the field. A lot of PSS cars in the pack here tonight. Strength in numbers, but as we've seen, strength in numbers doesn't matter when the chaos strikes on the last lap.
I mean, you couldn't really tell who was going to win that race up until probably about 2, or maybe even just the last lap. You kind of had a good idea. But this time, we're side by side, already lined up. You can see the cars on the racetrack. These cars, they got brand new paints for some of these guys, brand new teams. So much anxiety going into this season. This is their first time to be able to go out there and show that they can make it to the big show. And drivers that you want to keep an eye on, Paul Hill, for example, 26 car. He's here on the field. He's one of those guys that we watched all year, had a great year, made it to the postseason. Just a great all-around guy to be able to see how he does. Another car that comes to mind, Brandon Hastings. He won one of the first recruitment race they had earlier this season. And by recruitment, it was just a test race, really. But that 81 car is going to be fast. Keep an eye on him. And, of course, in that outside lane, Johnny Avila, fast as can be. It's going to be interesting to see how they do and whether or not this chess game is going to lie in their favor.
So heat number 2, we'll see a lot of Toyotas up towards the front. Up the top 5, 4 of them are going to be Toyota Camaries. Conti Machine of Hastings. Busy after, of course, some strong success with Tricon last season. They're in the midst of their new era. Hastings looking to start off his iRacing season, though, with a bang. Green flag is out. We're underway for heat number 2.
And they're pushing hard already. Nose to tail. Gallimore on the back bumper of the 81 at Hastings. You can see the outside lane. 26 is all over the back bumper of the 11, pushing the pusher. Be careful there. Watch that bottom line.
Keep it about even this time. No back off this time through as they go down the back straight away. Vila getting more help this time from Kleinman. Kleinman in the stealth car looking very solid. In fact, on the pushes, but not enough to clear is the difference. They aren't getting the help from that third car and more.
Man, they're using a lot of side draft. They got right down on that door of the 81 car. That 63 did. They're still pushing hard. I'm really sketched out, guys. They're pushing a little too hard, but we know what they're going for, so might be all right, but we'll see. Got a ways to go.
Yeah, a lot of side draft. And when you side draft like this, you can pull back those lines and really hold up the momentum. They're only going 192 miles an hour, Kirk. That's how aggressive they're trying to pinch on each other. They're not leaving a half a car length like we were seeing last race.
No, not at all. Yeah, these guys are just stalemating. But you look at the back of the field and you see cars like the 9 car back here. Alex Princeton, he's just riding. He ain't trying to push nothing. He's just riding the outside line at the back of the field. But, man, that car on the outside really likes to do some side drafting.
Yes, indeed. Interesting thing to keep an eye on here is going to be a couple of those EPI drivers lined up. They brought a whole factory team to compete in this season. One of the drivers is Von Henschel, should say, in the 34 car that we talked about. He's getting a huge run to potentially clear, and he's getting turned!
Oh, no! Look out, 2 cars go spinning on the back straightaway. That's Von Henschel and Avila both going around. Staying green.
Von Henschel, Avila around, no caution. We stay green. And commentators curse. How about Survivor music strikes?
Oh, come on. Yeah, no, don't worry about that. There's no such thing. It's just a weird quinky-dink. We talk about drivers, the whole thing in the field. You have a 1 in 12 chance of being it, so just happens. But now the real question we want to keep an eye on, look at these top 4. They've pulled away. Now you got this second pack. They got to get lined up, and they got to get heading towards the front. If they don't get there in time, they don't get a shot. You see that gap? That is totally overcomable. They got enough cars to be able to do it, but they got to work together. They cannot wait around trying to race each other right now.
Yeah, this is going to be the interesting part now in the setup dynamic is, can that second pack with more variables close on up compared to the 4 cars up in front? It depends on how well organized they are here. This time through on the lap count, or the lap time. They'll come on across the stripe. They were 46.1s before, 46.3s this time through. The other pack was in the 46.7s, although they were still getting together in the first place. They've got to find a way to switch the lead car possibly in pack 2. Mesnard's only peaking out at 189 miles an hour in turn 2.
A lot of shoving. Just hope that we don't see anybody get spun. That's it. You got to be careful here. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, all over the place. There we go. One just dived out. I guess that second lane doesn't really want to get up there, do they?
I think that's because Raymond Roop's overheating. He's got a crushed in front nose here, Kirk.
Oh, so that's what it is.
He can't really push for too long compared to some of the others.
Oh, man, that stinks. Yeah, that's a rough situation to be put in, but we'll see if that 9 car's got it. Mesnard's getting up out of the way. Now it's Rich Kleiman and Alex Princeton leading the second pack. Up front, again, it's Neil Pearson from Australia, Paul Hill, Paul Gallimore, and Brandon Hastings. You got 2 Pauls, 1 Brandon, and 1 Neil up front.
I don't know if the name dynamic's going to pop up, but I will say this. 4 cars fighting for 2 spots. Really, don't think any of them in the same grouping because you have a Beast Mode Performance car. You also have Brandon Hastings' Conti car. You have a Bigfoot Collective car, and you have a Dirty Self car. So somebody's going to have to figure something out and find a friend somewhere to push themselves into the show.
Yeah, you know, it's like one of them, like a bunch of guys walk into a bar. None of them are the same. It's a setup of a joke right now, and I have no idea how this joke's punchline is going to look. We're going to see it here in about 4 laps, but that second pack is so far back, I don't think they have any shot at catching these guys. You see that giant gap? They might push as hard as they can, but I don't think they have much say anymore. Let's keep an eye on this top 4 because I think that's where the real top 2 are going to be.
They just cannot match on straight line speed. The drag difference is so huge here. Remember, when it comes to setup balance, having the right rake balance in terms of your platform for the chassis is so critical. It almost feels like there's too much drag for whoever's in that second pack compared to the lead group. that has got it a little bit more trimmed in a way you can carry more momentum around the track so you're not bogged down.
Absolutely. You know, something else to mention about this group right here is take a look at this one versus the first heat. They were almost 4 wide for second place coming to the end of that heat. This time, we got 4 cars that are left in the top pack. So it just depends on the luck of the draw here. It is kind of a chess match, but right now, Paul Gallimore and Brandon Hastings, top 2. These guys are probably sitting pretty good, but that 3rd and 4th place cars, I'm sure, have a plan to try and get them both into the next round as well if they really work together.
Henschel moves on into the back of the lead group. Don't know if they're going to be able to keep up, though, with the damage. Might just tail off in, but it doesn't matter. About a lap in 3/4 to go. It's Brandon Hastings up at the front, and for Hastings, when he made starts last season, it was a bit of a roller coaster. Had decent pace, but wasn't race contending pace. Has experience, as we said, in NASCAR, also has been a strong competitor when it comes to the crew side for some NASCAR competitions. Now, he's going to have to try and hold off the crowd coming to the white flag.
Oh, look out here. I don't know if they're going to be in a right order when they hit the line next time by. It might not look like this. We'll see. Here we go to the outside.
Here we go. It's Hill on the outside, Hastings on the inside. Paul Hill, one of the drivers who battled for last year's title, trying to get some help this time from Pearson. They'll work their way to the back straightaway. Hastings gets bumped loose, though, by Gallimore. The outside line, the better line, and it's got help from lap traffic. Hill jumps up to the point. Pearson jumps to second. Hastings drops all the way to the tail as they'll run their way through 3 and 4. Will anybody find their way around the 62? Doesn't look like it unless there's a huge one-lap car as the buffer. It's Hill, it's Pearson. They'll both move on to the feature.
Von Hitchell was the one to be able to ultimately decide that. Getting in line in the outside line, pushing those 2 up to the front. I guarantee you he's going to get a Christmas card from these top 2 when Christmas rolls back around.
So, again, advancing Hill and Pearson. Here's who advanced. Remember, in Heat 1, that was Duggar and Chara Jr. that both advanced. That difference was 3 1/1000ths. This one, a lot bigger. Hill and Pearson, that difference, more than a 10th of a second to Paul Gallimore. Hastings also going to have to to the consolation races with more Root, Brinson, Kleiman, Mesnard, along with Avila and Von Henschel amongst those drivers. Interesting first 2 races here, Kirk, but we still have 2 more heats to go.
Yeah, this is just the normal tax of whenever you go to the, the Clash. You know, you got to get through these heat races, figure out who the heck's starting in this thing. Once we figure that out, we go real racing tonight. Here's starting lineup for number 3. Got Wesley Napier on the inside, starting on the pole, to the outside, Timothy Harper. 2 guys I don't recognize from last season, probably here for the first time this year. Andrew Dyson will start 3rd. We know him. He won every road course race last year. Then, of course, you got Matthew David Wood. He's a little bit new, driving that 16 Greg Biffle number paint scheme there. I like it. And they're starting in 5th, Lucas Hoitzman, the 97, champion last season. He's a guy who's going to be fun to watch. To the outside, Alex Coffey in the 54. He's got a lot of speed as well. Thomas Kumacheski rolls off in 7th, and he is rolling right alongside Casey Graves, who is new to me. I haven't heard that name yet. Going to see how they do this season. And then you got Jedi Taylor, Jason Taylor, on 9th, and William Owens starting in 10th here tonight in that 30 car for Precision. Starting on 11th, again, is Joseph Galata rounding out the final round, and that guy's fast, and no matter what car he drives.
Pardon me there, but I was about to say, Galata definitely going to be difficult to stop because we know how strong he was in the speedways. This isn't a speedway, though. It's a super speedway. So we have a lot of different players here and a lot of independents. Napier from MK Racing. You also throw Matthew David Wood, who's going to be a part of Slow in terms of the team alignment. Also, Graves is one of the independents for True Speed Motorsports. What is that pressure like as a driver with you making your debut here tonight for you and your organization to say, this is your first impression to build up respect for the FLCC 500.
Well, they got to realize that, being newcomers, it's going to be something that the rest of the field's going to keep an eye on. They don't know how they're going to drive 100%. So once they get out there, they'll be a little less inclined to help whoever's around you. You only help those that you know really well. So, I mean, at that point, they got to work together. They got to make some friends and make that work. The biggest thing I could say, just keep the car clean and get to the end of the race, let alone if you advance or not. Just try your best not to crash that car and don't make a fool of yourself, and you'll be just fine.
Again, let's group up again. We have a grand total of 11 cars on the racetrack. 2 advance, the rest go to the consolation races, determine who advances to compete for the win in the clash. Napier looks for a solid debut. He's off and away, but the outside's better with Harper. Look at that outside go here, Kirk. They did not get going on the inside.
No, not this time. That's very unusual. That bottom lane normally is pretty good about getting to the throttle really quickly, and now everybody seems to try and avoid the bottom lane. Look, you got 3 cars on the bottom, 4 on the top. Until now, here comes top 2 moving down to the bottom. They're going to be taking over that top 2 spots. See the 54 Coffee, and of course, you got the 23 car up there now, side by side. Again, holy cow, they just swapped a lot of spots. Timothy Harper and Casey Graves leading the top line and the bottom line.
Now, Harper should be a familiar name for those watching along with Moonshiners. That is an RPSS car. Harper, competitive in those races, especially on super speedways. Graves, he's raced a fair amount of leagues, and this is the biggest, you could say, that he's competed in. So this is important for the 01 to build up the friendships here. William Owens, though, already charging for the very back, already into the battle for the race lead. The 30 did not take time to pass all those cars, and he's got the defending series champion with him right behind.
Yeah, I mean, this offseason was fantastic for that 30 car. He went to Precision. Precision's got some good stuff right now. He's got some good help. Look at this, but the 97 doesn't go with him. He stays on the top. 97 teammates with the 30 chooses not to go with him. Here comes Galata giving the 30 a shot.
Now it's going to be the interesting thing on how things shuffle. Remember, some of those Precision cars throughout the season are also going to be a part of RHM. That was a part of the situation when it came to Hoytsma to bring in that grouping of drivers. They've also got Coffee under their hood. That's where Harper's going to be running. That's where they have Jacob Simpson. That's where they have Ralph Hutchinson working in the boxes. Jonathan Delaney a part of that group, of course, with Hoytsma. So some of those drivers in numbers going to be a part of a couple different contingencies to bring the numbers. Look at Galata, 11th to 2nd, and it's only taken 4 laps, just about.
He's fast. Oh, look out. 23 got loose. Nice save. He's going to come back up the racetrack, and there they go. Around, a couple cars spinning. One's crashing there. You see Kumacheski in the wall. Alex Coffey spinning. You also got the 23 on the inside of the racetrack going around.
And that got ugly quickly. Rough rejoin, possibly. Let's take a look at this. Bump in the tri-oval, and then it gets disastrous right here.
Timothy Harper, early on in the series, definitely making a choice that may not have been great, but up front, this battle's still heating on. It's crazy. Galata just got freight trained on the outside by everybody else. Holy cow, Owens leading the thing.
So Owens at the point right now for the time being. He tries to settle things. That is a Lunar Racing performance car with the PSS sponsorship. Graves right now in the transfer spot. We'll say Lucas Hoytsma, they put in the work to make sure of one thing. If you look very closely at the 97, you'll notice a small difference to the banner. Everyone's got FLCC except for one. Hoytsma has the special 2025 champion that they put on that car, that banner just above the driver. You'll a touch bit from here that there's that small look to indicate how well Hoytsma done. Of course, did well in FLCC, did well in Friday Night Lights. It was a strong 2025 for Lucas Hoytsma's 97.
one of my favorite years to watch him. And I got to race with him at Bristol last year in the Friday Night Lights series. Lucas was just an all-around class act. He races you clean, and got really lucky with the way that the system worked for a couple of these series. But now we got the playoffs, brand new thing. Winning your in is gone. It's all about making sure you have a good year all year long, and especially the last 10 races of the year. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how they navigate that, but not tonight. Tonight's not about points. It's about making it into the Clash. It's what it's all about, man.
It's about having fun here tonight with the format, especially the challenges here. Komacheski trying to push Galata. Nothing doing, though, for the time being. So all this is where strategy is going to be critical, but also gamesmanship with 4 laps to go. Look at the way Galata is trying to pull back each car, hang on the rear fender. It's very difficult, though, to get alongside for the race lead unless you got that huge run. Just 2 cars doesn't work.
Depends on which 2 cars. I always say that. 99 wants to go to the front. The E is making moves when they show up, but nobody's going with them until now. Kulmacheski tries to go to the outside line to try and push him past this bottom lane, who is now checking up slightly. He's gotten even with 3rd place.
Yeah, but it's going to take a lot more work and potentially a lot more on the engine test for Komacheski. Remember, with these cars, you can push for about 3 laps before you start to go in the red, and if you're in the red, if you're above 284 degrees Fahrenheit, specifically on the oil temperature, well, there's a strong chance you may pop the motor. It looks like Komacheski just had to back out to cool those temps to reset. 2.5 laps to go, and Owens remains unchallenged here after starting towards the tail.
Well, they ain't going to last long. I guarantee you, you're going to have some folks trying to dive out. But luckily for him right now, 3rd place is a teammate. So if they see that car dive out, they know they can get in front of him and they won't try to wreck him or anything like that, I think. You never know for sure, but this is what it's all about, trying to make it. And right now you see the 16, the 99, the 88, they're all backing up. They're getting a run. They're setting something up right now.
Yeah, they got to find a way to do something, and something quickly or wise. Things are going to be pretty simple up at the front. Now, Hoytsma still in the popcorn seat. Here comes Matthew David Wood. There's the run. Here comes the outside. This to be expected with Galata and Komacheski. Now to work with the 16. Matthew David Wood drives up to the front, coming up to 2, make it 1 laps to go this time.
Oh, I love seeing that 16 leading at Daytona. Man, what a rough offseason for everybody. That 16 leading the white flag here. That's just awesome to see. There goes a 30 car. William Owens gets spun.
Owens hard into the inside wall. His chances are toast. Now it's Wood and Galata, but are they too far out, Kirk? Here comes Komacheski.
Well, that is if they can get lined up. Right now, Komacheski's got to get in front of the cars on the outside right here, right now, if he wants it. Looks like they're going to hold back, but that 16 still hanging on to it. Here comes the 01 and the 97, though. They're going to get a run.
Graves is trying, but he's bobbling. Isn't working out at all on the outside. Komacheski going to have to hope for some luck. Wood in front, Galata in second. They'll pass by damaged cars as Wood and Galata advance into the show. Komacheski is the first one out in Heat 3. Graves and Hoytsma also will have to go to the Consi.
All right, Matthew David Wood. I'd never heard of the name before, but now I will. Man, that 16 car, well frickin' done. Way to pay homage. I love that. And good props to the 99 for not trying to, get in front of him or do anything other than help him. That was awesome.
Matthew David, bad push in the tryover for Owens in that circumstance. And that really set things up for Matthew David Wood to be able to hold on in front with the Greg Biffield tribute. There's local results. Galata second, Komacheski, Graves, Hoytsma, Taylor, Dyson, Napier, Owens, Coffey amongst those who will have to go to the consolation races where things are going to get wilder. And then we have 11 more. These are the last drivers coming up here in your order. New to Ryko this season, it's Nolan Hodgson who will start on the pole. Dave Hoytsma will start in second. He counts as an independent. Cameron Stone for Team Conti starts off in third, and then it's one of the Ralph Hutchinson machines. His namesake starts off in fourth. Stephen Williams rounds out the top 5 tonight in what is a gray blob. Then it's Jeremy Brown who will start in 6th spot. Kevin Soziak will start in 7th tonight in the 37 car. Michael S. Tucker starts in 8th position. Rounding out the top 10, Tommy Gossett and our Ryko machine starting alongside last year's Clash winner, Jonathan Delaney. And then at the tail is Sean Anderson, part of the EPI grouping of drivers here tonight. So we'll talk about the one who are here tonight. Heavy hitters galore in this field that have done well on super speedways or done well in this series in general. But now the difference is going to be these are going to be your last spots for sure in the show. And we'll have to see how some of these drivers with new places look tonight here.
Yeah, a lot of cars going different places. I mean, if you looked at the 12th car a year ago at the very beginning of the year, you wouldn't be able to recognize it compared to what he's got now. He got on board with Ryko. He's got himself a good group of cars, good group of guys backing him, and now he's going to start off on the pole here tonight. It's going to be fun to see how the 12 car does. I think he's a championship contender, no doubt about it. But other championship contenders already, you know for a fact, if Jonathan Delaney can make it through the races, stay clean, and avoid crashing, he will be one to be reckoned with for the championship. Tommy Gossett, another one to come to mind. Ralph Hutchinson, Cameron Stone, you know these guys. They're all fast. They have tremendous opportunity here to try and be a champion. But tonight, they have tremendous opportunity to make the clash, and it's going to be fun to watch, especially with Jonathan Delaney starting in 10th tonight.
It's going to be difficult for some of the drivers here, but the challenges are about to be tested. One more heat race, and then we go Conti racing. We increase the lap count. Pace car already off, field ready to go. Green flag is out. We're underway again from Daytona.
That outside line got a really great start. Williams on the bottom backed out, and you said that gray blob, he backed out pretty good. That makes Dave Hoytsma take the point.
Williams specifically in the DPR racing car was that one referred to. But it's going to be the Maconi setup shop machine of Dave Hoytsma, who gets some help from the RHM entry, who gets help from the Elite Motorsports entry, who gets help from the Stealth Racing car. All four on the outside jump up 1, 2, 3, 4 and ditch Jonathan Delaney.
Now watch that outside lane now. Here they go. Yep, figure somebody would jump up. Take a look right there. Going to have a big old run out of the insides. Checked up. Now they're even.
Michael Tucker already to the point, and he's somebody to watch for here. He's one of the drivers that's a crossover from Spartan Sim Racing League and then SSRO Masters. Actually picked up a win a couple weeks ago at Homestead Miami Speedway. Should be pretty quick here in this series here today. Now what the thing's going to be, though, you're expecting a lot of these drivers to really try and get the outside moving again because Gossett, we know, can be a bit aggressive. He's trying to side draft hard on the 19.
And already even some moves for 3 wide for a split second there. But yeah, you got a point. Nolan started on a pole. He's now dead last. That's how fast things can change at Daytona. They go from the front to the back in no time. And that outside line, it gains momentum. 3 wide, and Cameron Stone up in the wall trying to get a move on.
He's trying as hard as he can here. Here comes Gossett. Getting some really good pushes from Sean Anderson. Anderson seems to be pretty comfortable with the triple, in fact, the quadruple car tandem to bring up the Ryko-powered machine to the point. The Ladybug, though, going to be the next pusher. That 37 with a bit of a different look tonight. Looking to try and see if they can reset now.
I could say that. I'm seeing a lot of side-to-side movement from some of these guys. It's starting to get a little antsy. They're trying to side draft, trying to do everything they can to get into a position where they can win or finish second in this particular one. But That outside line it gets a run from time to time, but then it just drops right back. I gotta say, Sean Anderson is the only name that doesn't necessarily ring a bell for me compared to last season. Good to see him here, outside, leading that outside line, trying to make it work. Interesting to see a newcomer, and it's going to be awesome to watch him run all season if they can keep this up.
You know who's up to the third spot if they can clear, though? Delaney. Talked about him with super speedways with the King of the Super Speedway Championship. He's already looking for a place to go. Problem is, no one is lined up on the outside to jump up in front. That 6 is on the cusp of trying to advance, coming up to the halfway point as the outside line's fading for a moment. Look at this, there's the 6. Able to jump up, Kirk. And it looks like Delaney will try and take the lead. Gets blocked hard by Gossett.
Gossett knows what he's doing. He's one of those guys that's able to, he's one of the most aggressive cars in the field. Last season, drivers actually got a negative connotation for the guy, for his aggressiveness. But I like it. I like it a lot. This guy's able to make moves that are kind of nuts. But I tell you what, it works out for him most of the time. Still leading the race. He held off Delaney. That's saying something.
Yeah, look at this. Things are not working out well for Dave Hoytsma, though. He's getting freight train. The outside has just completely dissolved. Nobody's willing to work with the 79 right now, and Hutchinson leaves them out to drive for good measure as well. Friends are critical. Having good speed is so critical as well here. A lot of these drivers, at the very least, just try to feel each other out to know where they're going to be comparable speed-wise by the time we go racing for the duels and try and see where they position for next week as well.
True. I mean, this is all just going to be great practice for them. They're going to learn a lot from the cars around them. So, I mean, you don't want to make a bad look on yourself this early because you got to know who you're going to be racing with on, on FLCC 500 day. Got to be real careful. Look at that. That 13 car went up from the bottom to the top, and that's real loose. Hang on to it, guy.
And you gotta wonder how much the EPI teammates that are not on this race are trying to help. Gossett with the ball in play. Trying to be the Pied Piper, nearly wrecked in front of the field. That is where you definitely need a spotter.
Now, I told you right there, he's aggressive, no doubt about it. He went up there, he blocked him, it worked out for him. He got real loose, but he saved the car. He can't say he ain't a wheelman, but he can't say he's driving super safe either. So, man, it's good for him. It's awesome.
So Anderson and Tucker are now the top two. Only 3 laps to work with it. Again, you know how things can change. Owen Hodgson moves up. It almost feels like one of those money races where on the super speedways you have to be very precise and know where you have to make the moves. These drivers have to be that on point to be able to hold on. Tucker's got damage on the front nose hearing, though. That's going to kill the inside possibly.
Or at least make it way more difficult, that's for sure.
Yeah, that nose is crushed and the inside is dying. Gossett is stuck. Anderson gets ditched with his rear damage. Hodgson to the point. Couple laps to work with. Hutchinson now hangs on the fender, nearly got into the 12. Here comes Zosiak for the push.
Man, even across the board, these guys. That outside line loses momentum just barely in the corners, but they gain it back down the back. We'll see how it works this particular time. Maybe not. Now look at that. We got Stone ditching them. And there's Delaney backing up. I think that 19 and the 37 just ain't going anywhere right now. It might change, though. Keep an eye on it. Here we go.
There's the squabble. There's the shuffle. There's the bobble. There's the wreck. Brown and Hutchinson slam down underneath the apron, coming to the white flag lap. White flag this time through. Hodgson and Anderson, Tucker and Stone try and battle amongst the lines. Here comes Gossett.
And now you know you don't got no more friends. Your friends are where you find them. Here we go. Contact. Cameron Stone's loose back here. He's wrecking into the wall. There's Delaney around. Zosiak's around. But up front, the top 4, it is Tucker, Gossett, Anderson, Hodgson in reverse order.
Coming around to decide who advances. Gossett trying to find a way around Anderson. Anderson flaring out a couple times over. Gossett has one more chance to poke. Peels off to the outside. Hodgson gives him draft. This could be close. And who gets it? That does get Gossett in the show. Hodgson and Gossett advance.
Talk about teammates working together right there. That 12 car knew that Gossett was going to need to make it in. And right there, he was able to do it.
Watch this from the iRacing cam. See, right there, just beats the draft. Barely had enough pull.
Yeah, that's right there. That's textbook.
And there were a couple different crashes to keep an eye on here too, Kirk. This first one could see coming.
And no doubt about it. Coming to the end, a lot of cars getting bad pushes left and right, but those two cars heavy inside down. That's the biggest hit of the weekend so far.
Then it gets harder down the back straight away because you have Soziak, you have Cam Stone there amongst the shuffles. Looks like we're advancing over to the next session, though, because these drivers have to get to the work. Let's see this again.
You can see right there, I mean, they're just trying to get into the hole that was closing at the same time. Contact, a couple cars go sliding. I don't think it was as hard as a hit as we saw in the front stretch here. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. But I think at the end of the day, we learned a lot.
So here's the deal, because remember we cut a couple heats. That means instead of just a couple, we're taking 6 per iRacing's details. Tower Hunter for EPI in the front row with Thomas Komacheski. They'll try and maintain those positions with Adam Benefiel and Casey Graves in the second row. Then row number 3, Nicholas Vroman. Then you have Lucas Hoitzma in the 6th position. 7th goes the way of Cody Porter. Jason S. Taylor, one of last season's up and downers, in 8th position. He had some good runs last year. Tanner Marty in the 9th spot. Andrew Dyson will round out your top 10 here.
11th will be Alex Murray trying to recover from that crash. Wesley Napier in 12th. Going to try and get to the front. Starting in 13th here will be Dustin Hall. Got spun early in the first heat. You see William Owens in the 30, who had a chance of winning in his particular heat, starting 14th. You see right there, 15th, that's Cliff Mullins. Also was leading at one point. Alex Coffey as well in the 54 car, starting 16th. 17th, Bobby Anderson in the 5 car. Love that paint scheme. And then Timothy Harper in the 23 car.
That'll be the 18 in this pack here. In full darkness here on the Speedway as past 8 p.m. in session. So now we double the amount of laps here, Kirk. Cautions don't count, remember, still in this one, but it's top 6 advancing with the way the iRacing session worked. That gets us to 20 for the final challenge. What's the pressure now like? Because not too many spots to have to fight for in terms of getting to the very tippy tip, but you still have to be able to get a good run, at least get to the top third.
Yeah, I think right now the biggest fear for these guys is you don't want to wreck out. You do not want to get involved in an accident. This is your last chance. You got to be able to make it through. Only 20 guys make it to the big show, so if you're not there at the end, you're not going to be one of them. We'll see how it goes, but going through turn 3 and 4, we're going to get this thing back underway for the first consolation, last chance qualifier number 1.
Get your game on. It's time to be able to see who's able to survive this part of the show. iRacing pace car ready to drop off. We'll see how they dance together up at the front. But it's Hunter, it's Komacheski. Green flag is out. 20 laps on the board. Let's go. We're underway.
Note for some fans here, we already know for a fact, the 42, Andrew Dyson, 41 of Andrew Dyson started from the pits. He's not going to be out on the racetrack. I don't think he's going to advance.
Well, that's definitely not good whatsoever when it comes to his chances. Dyson, one of your championship contenders who moved to Team Conti in the offseason, moving over from Dirty Self and the Ryko-powered machines, now going to have to hope for a caution to freeze the field, to say the very least. All while the top line is able to boost ahead with Komacheski.
First time seeing that 88 out front all day. He kind of had a topsy-turvy year last year. I'm sure he's looking to stay in the position he is for most of the races this year, have a better year, but he stayed clean. He was just one of those guys that's really aggressive on his tires, and he's able to stay up in the front for a while, but once his tires start getting worn out, that's when he starts to suffer. So maybe that's going to be his major point of improvement for this season. Luckily for him, super speedways don't have to worry about that too much.
Last season, 30 starts for Komacheski, averaged about a running spot of 18th place during the season. He now gets passed by 3 different cars, and Hoytsma is now pushing Casey Graves to his first lead laps in the FLCC. And how does this feel if you're a rookie here, especially knowing the challenges here? One of the independents, no friends coming into today, so to speak. Likely for the first time you're interacting with many of these drivers here on the platform.
You know, when you're in that position, the only thing you can do is learn as much as you can from the cars around you. You know that this is one of the premier series when it comes to full-length distance NASCAR. You're not going to find a better series out there for that. Not even close. These guys are just able to run the full distance, and it's not an e-sport like what they do. So I can say right now, oh, look out! Contact up front! Huge big one, I told you. You don't want to be involved in this stuff. That sucks. Oh, no.
Well, I was about to say Napier had built friends with EPI, and now many of his new friends are in the wall.
Let's see who calls this right here. Is this... Take a look at that.
Those pushers were not very stable in the first place, Kirk.
Yeah, not necessarily a fan of that one. But you know, I think the big winner out of all that may have been, I think that right there, it may be Andrew Dyson. He started from the pits. He missed the big wreck.
Well, that's exactly what he was banking for, right? You hope for an incident, you freeze the field, and now you have a lot of damaged race cars. Time to go back to the rule book here. No fast repairs in the clash. No fast repairs in FLCC period, essentially. And now you have Jason S. Taylor, Lucas Hoytsma, along with Timothy Harper, amongst those with damage in this field, along with, of course, Napier. They're all going to be suffering here with those problems here as you see what their cars look like on your pylon. For these drivers, though, they'll have time to fix the repairs, but they're definitely going to be very hopeful for the reset to be able to get track position afterwards. Try and get back in position here.
Yeah, I got to tell you right now, that 30 car in that wreck was the real cause. William Owens, he was real squirrely. No, he wasn't being pressured by the 54 of Alex Coffey on his tail. There was no pressure on him, but he was still pushing so hard to the point where he was trying to line up his bumpers, and he spun the 52 car into the 01. And that is just unfortunate to see, and not a good way to start the year for the 30 car William Owens. Not a good look.
Yeah, so at least more than a third of the field, in fact, is coming down for damage repair. How does this change the complexion of things, knowing we have our first caution? Remember, these laps are not counting here. They're supposed to not count. Let's take a look at some of the onboards.
You can see, let's see, this is William Owens on board. You can see he's pushing. If we can get a little bit of his wheel in the picture, I wish we could see that. That'd help out a lot. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Right there. So you can see right now, that wheel, like, it was a little bobby and weavy. I don't necessarily like seeing that from the inside, but that he got a clear view of it after the fact, but hate to see that accident happen. Here's an onboard from his point of view right here. It looks more like a windshield wiper than it does, you know, a race car right in front of you. And then he just swiped the bug away. And then they're all dead in the mirror. Unfortunate.
As a result here, field demolition. That's why it's so important to keep a smooth wheel. I almost death grip the wheel in the midst of the corners because of that, because I'm so scared of this back and forth. When I first started, I think I scared more people than anything else because of the weaving like that.
I guarantee you in the highlights, I'm going to put the wiggle, wiggle, wiggle song on it right there. When I'm gripping the wheel, the same thing. My hands get numb sometimes from how hard I'm squeezing the wheel. I hate to say that, but it's true, especially if it's at the end of one of these races and you're up front and you got a big pack right behind you. It's so anxious. So, I mean, it's just how it is. Small mistakes lead to large accidents, so it's unfortunate. But now we're going to go ahead and look at this right now. Let's take a look at everybody in the field, make sure how their damage may look and where they may be. Right now at the back of the field, I'm looking at each one of the cars on track live right now, and I'm not seeing too much damage for hardly anybody. There's still some damage here and there, but it's not, I don't see any race-ending damage for anybody quite yet.
So for the most part, outside of Timothy Harper, and what's gone to repairs, I think Casey Graves has just finished up some extra repairs as well. He spent 2 minutes down pit road. So we'll have to see how things get shuffled together here. Harper, I believe, is the one driver out. He has parked it for the night. He is done. We're down to 17 cars remaining. But up front, it is right now Komacheski over Hunter, Benefiel and Owens, Vroman and Coffey, Porter and Mullins are amongst some of the top drivers. And keep in mind, the 44, up until the last laps in the heat race, was right there to advance. Cliff is looking for redemption after a part-time year last year.
You know, he needs to have a better year this year, that 88 car. Last year, I mean, it was definitely a discovery year, I think, for that 88 car. Learn a little bit thing or two. But this year, he's starting up front. We'll see if he's able to stay up there for the duration. But he's got a lot of hungry cars right behind him and a bunch of cars out there on the track right now that most certainly won't make it easy for him.
So, again, we'll come up to what will be 3 laps complete this time by Komacheski in control. Tower Hunter second. Ready for the launch. Green flag is out. Backing away in the inside line. Got a much better start here. There goes the 48 down, and he resets the bottom. Much of the field immediately to the bottom.
This season, we're going to have so many ups and downs. This is one of those times whenever you can at least go out there and try and focus on having some fun. You don't have to be super serious, but obviously you want to make the big show. You want to be able to show that your team's fastest at speed weeks early on. This is your chance to do it. But that outside line, if you're in it, get out of it quick. It is dying. Sell, sell, sell.
I mean, sometimes the best time to buy a stock is when it's dipping and you buy the dip.
That's true sometimes, but I don't like the way it looks right now. You kind of got this, unless one of the cars on the bottom decides to go up to the top. Once that happens, that outside line normally gains a whole lot of momentum. Right now, it doesn't look like anybody wants to go up there with him. Not quite yet. But that inside line, you've got a point. He's checking up slightly now. One car is looking up out of the groove. That's Vroman.
Yep, some good shuffles here. The RHM car of Coffey, all with the rear end of the Lunar machine of Owens. Now, here comes Vroman in a Conti car looking for some help. His pink machine looks to get up to the point.
He pulled right up in front of William Owens. Has a lot of faith in that 30 car after that big one a little bit ago. It's working out for him. Up to the lead, just like that.
To the point, Nicholas Vroman able to get ahead, but immediately loses help. Now, he gets help instead from Coffey, trying to build friends from everywhere. Look who's trying to move themselves up forward, though. One of the paint schemes I knew you really liked this season, shuffling over from the Fords to the Toyotas. Bobby Anderson, he's coming up to the front.
That 5 car, he was good on the super speedways last year. It's just a matter of getting to the finish for that 5 car. Hopefully he'll be able to make it to the next round. He's in a transfer spot right now, but he's got to hang on to it. He's got a ways to go.
Indeed. The interesting thing about Nicholas Roman that I think no one talks about here is he's built up more of a career on the iRacing side, but he actually, interesting enough that I don't think most people do, I didn't even realize this because he never talked about it, he's a former NASCAR Pro Heat, NASCAR Heat League Pro member. I know I just bobbled that up, but when NASCAR Heat was a thing, he was in fact a part of the first season for Levine Family Racing in that 95 camp and was one of the drivers that was picked in the Xbox round to be able to join the family. Now he's built more of his career on the iRacing side. Part of the many people went from the console side over to the PC side and built themselves as a good repertoire of driver.
Look out, bottom line checkup, but yeah, holy cow. I didn't know that about him. That's actually really cool. Vroman, that shows a little bit of, I think I'm seeing where he gets the paint scheme idea now. That wasn't something I ever actually heard of outside of the chrome cars you'd see in NASCAR the game 2011, I think it was, or whatever it was. You could like custom paint to make the whole thing chrome, and it was a nightmare to look at. But now they're 3 wide back here. Holy cow. Got the 5 car stuck in the middle.
Yeah, Benefield. He's got no friends back there. Everybody's on the yellow line here, coming to 12 laps to go, except for a couple. I think everyone's playing the calm before the storm game here. No one's willing to really risk it. They want to stay in the green. You see it on the pylon. They don't want to be in the blue. A lot of chatter, by the way, from some of the drivers in the session about temperatures. So it's about managing the temperatures right, especially when it comes to the corners. It's to the point where some of the competitors are trying to coach and accidentally telling everybody their coaching methods here, including you have to run the corners lower. You have to check what a good temperature to bake a chicken breast at. Brandon Hastings, everybody. Stuff like that. No, seriously, that's the in-sim conversation is how you cook chicken.
Well, that's what happens when you get single file at Daytona. You start thinking about food. You stop worrying about the cars around you. You start worrying about eating some dang chicken. God bless America. I kind of like that. That's funny.
Yeah,
I didn't hear it.
I'm just sitting here wondering about the chicken conversation. I just cook it until it's not pink. I don't know. I don't know if that's a temperature. What is your preferred temperature?
I asked my wife nicely.
Okay, that is not a temperature. That is a question.
That's the best way to put it. She'll get a kick out of that. But no, we're good. Single file, man. What are these guys doing? Come on, this is the Clash. You want to try and win the dang thing? You can't do that right around 17th.
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to try something here. And I think these drivers are just trying to make sure they do not wreck is the big thing. They're carrying speeds of 190 miles an hour down at the bottom of the circuit. Komacheski is your bubble car. It's to the point, by the way, the conversation in session has gotten to the cars in the session to be able to jump on the racetrack. So, I mean, Roman, at the very least, I think is just having a bit of fun here tonight because we know he likes to lean a bit into the memes as of late. No, he really leaned into the I'm a free agent with Reiko / Conti / wherever his alignments were during last season. He's been able to firmly affirm himself this season with the Conti cars, though. Looks to be very fast in the 95 camp.
I'm thinking about it right here, and I got to say, what a turnaround for right now. We'll see how it goes to the end, but Jedi Taylor, Jason Taylor sitting there in 3rd place. That 60 car has had a really rough year last year, but I can tell you right now, that 60 car sitting in 3rd sounds like a comeback year for that 60. We'll see what happens.
Yes, indeed. Jason S. Taylor. It felt like for so long that he would be able to get some decent top 10 speed, but Ellis was a trooper when it came to last season to be able to log laps at the very least. At least to me. But today, doing a solid effort, stayed out of the incident, been able to keep up in front. He's working with Anderson, he's working with Pearson, he's working with Stephen Williams. A part of this season in the black
back
flag
in the field.
DPR alignment. You were saying they're starting to shuffle.
Yeah, there was a car that almost spun out. The 52 car of Wesley Napier almost got around again. Outside line had him run. The 41 of Andrew Dyson and the 01 of Casey Graves trying to make the top line work. Take a look right here. You're going to see this. They kind of, outside line's dying now, so don't worry about that. But here's what happened in the picture. Take a look on the bottom of the racetrack. You're going to see this checkup happen, and he's going to get a shot and go below the yellow right now. Here he goes. Saved the car, kept it going, go straight, and that's a really difficult road. Right, live. We need to go live right now. 3 wide. Look out.
Oh, look at this. Mullins nearly got turned. Kolmacheski got shuffled. Kolmacheski no longer in the transfer spots, and everybody wants to get the track position. Alex Murray is on the push, and Murray does not want to get bogged down here.
Outside line, he's got some momentum now. Take a look. Owens trying to get back up to the top. Oh, there he goes, the 44 up and out of the way. There, Cliff Mullins out of there.
Immediately working with his fellow setup mate, Owens now gets assistance. Owens is going a lot higher than he needs to go, though, in the corner. He's trying to stay above the seam.
You think that might be on purpose? I'm not sure. We'll have to look at it. But that outside line's got some new energy that wasn't there before.
They're going to have to work very hard here, coming up 5 laps to go. Wouldn't be surprised if they need one more car to really carry this momentum forward, even with the numbers up here doing pretty solid. You know who's up there as well? One of the championship contenders last season, Andrew Dyson, a new home in 2026, working with Team Conti. And we've seen Dyson, remember, get punted around that 41 car,
Whoa.
3rd in line, now 2nd in line as Owens gets shuffled.
Yeah, just like that. Pushed him up 3 wide, car blinking on the inside. They're gone. Outside line. Oh, he's back. He's spinning. 2 cars. Dustin Hall's involved, and so is Napier.
There they go. No caution. We stay green, and they'll be out of contention here. Let's take a look.
And look out, man. This is a lot. Yeah, they're blinking out, and then he came back, and then he just got some accidents. Let's get back to live as quick as we can. Those 2 cars are out of it, but this battle for this lead is starting to heat up hard.
That's because Alex Coffey is now getting pushed in the RHM car. He looks to get ahead. One of the top contenders in Moonshiners getting turned by his team boss. Caution flag is out, and this freezes the field. At least half the field's in it. And here is where...
out.
Yes, and you're going to say, you were talking about this being big? 9 incident points tonight.
That's all you can get. So 2 big wrecks and going off track, you're done. That's it. And there goes last year's champion out of the race.
And was about to say, for Alex Murray, works a lot with Coffey. And now some very destroyed race cars. They were trying to push hard to take the race lead in the precision-powered machines.
I think that chicken's overcooked.
I think Coffey slipped up with the push, and that pushed them off center, and then that caused chaos in the corner.
Yep. No doubt about it.
Well, somebody's going to what they call bird beak tempura with that contact. As I'm using a reference from one of the drivers here. That fits very well here. Some
That's
of the
awesome.
drivers are definitely not going to have the juiciest part of the chicken coming out of the ovens right now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
for a lot of these drivers, they'll have a lot of damage instead, where they'll be hoping the bird beaks destroy the damage and fix the car magically.
This will forever be known as the last chance qualifier race, where chicken was the number one topic. Oh, God. I'm sorry. That's so funny. And that's one of those things I ain't forgetting for life. That's awesome. But right now, we got the caution back out there. Let's look at who's out there still alive. Alex Murray, we know he's out there, but he's got a lot of front end nose damage. He might have a little bit of a problem. The 60 car, Taylor, he's still out there alive right now as well, and I'm not seeing too much damage on that 60 car. Dyson's got front end damage. Tyler Hunter looks pretty clean. Same thing with the 04, but we'll see if they choose to come down pit road.
Oh, this is interesting. Murray with the damage is not coming down. This is Murray's one shot possibly to make it in the top 6. He is banking on no one being able to hold off the crowd, but several of his friends like Coffee are down pit road. Napier again is down pit road. Marty Graves is down pit road. Mullen stayed out despite significant front end damage. Jason S. Taylor is still the first of those who've gotten damage repairs. Dyson stayed out with the damage. Everybody who picked up damage that you see on the racetrack is hoping that they can block the lanes here, Kirk.
That's what you got to do now that you got the chance. We got 4 laps to go when we get the green. It's going to be one of those situations where you just want to keep the car underneath you and make sure that the cars that came down pit road can't pass you. You don't want to get turned either. I'd like to be sitting third, to be honest with you, out of the 6.
So it's time to bring somebody in, and oh boy, it is your race leader. Let's see if we can talk with him real quickly. Alex Murray, do you have a copy in the broadcast booth here?
Yeah, I got you.
You're in the race lead with a destroyed race car. First of all, how's the car?
Toe's knocked out of it, but we'll see what happens. Been struggling with some internet issues because of the snow, so hopefully we can finish this and move on to the final. If not, we gave it our best shot.
How difficult will this to be to hold off the crowd, especially with the incident between you and Coffee there that sparked it, and now having to reset with much of the field right behind you?
I think we're gonna be a sitting duck here on the restart, but we're gonna fight for it. See what happens.
Straight to the point. Anything else you want to add before let's get back to your team?
We're just gonna give it our all here and see what happens. Not for points, so not gonna hurt anybody's championship points or anything like that. So going for a win.
Good luck here the rest of the way, Alex.
Thanks, Justin.
Alex Murray. You can tell with the briskness of some of the answers, just focused on just survive to the end of this race. Go from there.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, he said the same answer 3 times to your questions. He said, I don't know, we'll just see. We'll just see what happens. That car's, if he said what he said, the way he sounds, that car's going to be a sitting duck. I do not want to be Dyson right now. That 41 car, I don't want to be anybody behind the 22. I think the 60 car might want to be careful on this restart, because if he's got more RPM than the 22 does, you don't want to get a penalty for beating him to the line. So, I mean, keep an eye on it. We'll see how that 22 does.
Double file. Up front, it's Murray, Taylor, Dyson, Hunter, Porter, Anderson. They're in the transfer spots, but that will likely change here, because you also have Benefield behind you. Mullins, who's had connection issues. Owens and Hall. Then Graves and Komacheski. Marty. Coffee is still trying to catch up to the field with Napier. So we're either going to have one of two things. We're going to go green to the end with some absolute calamity, or we're going to see some absolute calamity in a restart. Do we do the in-between of that, Kirk?
You know, I don't even want to guess. I'll be honest with you. It's one of them races where anything could happen. They could make it back clean and green, and 22 somehow wins the dang thing. Or it could end up just everybody getting DQ. I think that's not far off. You might just see 1 or 2 finishers if we get another wreck or 2. So we'll see. But that pace car's coming off turn 4. We're going to get, I think it's either 4 or 3 laps to go when they hit the line. We'll see how they do.
3 laps are on the board. 3 more times around. Murray and Taylor, Dyson and Hunter. Let's work things through. Green flag is out. Let's find out how much room is left in the 22. And it's not a lot. He's already getting passed by the outside. This is checking up the inside. Watch for the middle line. Dyson getting blocked by Murray. Murray trying to hold off the lane. And now Dyson gets bottled. Jason S. Taylor moves down.
You can tell that 22 does not have the RPM. He is dropping off like a rock right now. That inside line is dissolving. 3 wide back in the back. Look out. They're snaking all over the racetrack. Jedi Taylor to the lead, being pushed by Tyler Hunter.
Craziness abound. Last season, 1 top 10 all season for Jason S. Taylor in 20 starts. Can he get himself a win in the Consi? More drivers with problems, more spins, all sorts of chaos. Everybody's starting to reach the incident limit. At least 2-3 cars DQ as we're back under yellow.
Wow. That got rid of most of the rest of the guys.
Well, that went about what I expected with the chaos part.
Why was he pushing the 22 so dang hard? I mean, look at that. That's what started this whole thing. That car was... He didn't lift at all. He even pushed the car. They both went around and wrecked. Who is that? Hang on. I can't tell who that is from a distance. It may be Wesley Napier.
That was a push and a half there. I'm surprised it worked well there, but it was only going to work so long. There was air there.
It's the 04 of Cody Porter. He did not lift at all. He decided, I'm pushing you no matter what. And he just kept pushing, and he wrecked the car in front of him. He caused the wreck behind him, 100% on the 04 in that one.
I think he's one of the people I want to talk to after that one to hear the perspective, because remember the heat race? Trying to paint these two drivers did. That was a huge shot. There's not really too many places you can take the shot to.
Yeah, you gotta lift. I mean, you gotta lift. He stayed in the gas, pushed the 22. You can see this here. Take a look. Where is the 22 gonna go? He has to force it 3 wide. That gets the 88 up out of the hill, caused the car behind him to lift, and that caused a big wreck that got Adam Benefiel out of the race. That sucks for him. And then everybody else is trying to avoid it. Goes to the grass. A couple guys get DQ'd. Oh, man. I mean, it's good it's not for points, but, you know, that's not a good look.
Let's get some very quick words because we got only 90 seconds on the clock. It's going to be a wild finish. Cody Porter, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
First of all, welcome to the series. Second, what was the push there in the heart of the field? What was the approach there on Murray?
So Murray had a dead car, so I was just trying to make sure we actually get through the field. And I guess there was a car in front of him. I didn't know about it.
Well then, on that note, you're in amongst the transfer cars here. Approach, since we're going to have like a minute to go. You're talking 20 seconds when we get the green.
Survival.
All right, you're going to have to plan this out with your team members. We'll see what happens here. Good luck.
Thank you.
Had a lot more questions to ask, but we are getting ready for a restart here, Brooke, and we are out of time on the timer. 30 seconds to go. We might get the white. We might not. This is going to be up to the sim here. Kirk.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I got to tell you right now, I think that Cody Porter, with that move, may have gotten him into the final bit there because he's sitting right now pretty in fourth. If he's able to make this, yeah, they're not going to make it back. This is going to be it.
Well, Cody Porter making things interesting as a rookie. See if that move does indeed get him to hold on here, because clock is at zeros. Last lap is showing on some timing screens. Green flag is out. What do we do in the sim? This might be the final time around. Bobby Anderson's off and away in second as we make our way into one.
I guess we're just counting this as the last lap. Look out. You only got one lap, and it's your speed up to speed lap. Push hard, push hard.
Push, push, push. Jason S. Taylor looking for his first win in the FLCC. He wants to get it done in the Consi race. Some of the drivers at the back of the field did not get to the pack. They are done for. Coffee right now in 5th. Porter may not advance because Owens is alongside for the transfer. Coming on through 3 and 4. Final time through. Porter drops out of the transfers. Hunter slips. Coffee slips down. Coffee 3 wide. Coffee 4 wide. A wreck with Owens. Checker flag is Jason S. Taylor. Anderson, Mullins, Porter, Hunter, and Napier are in the top 6. In the words of William Owens, well then.
Yep. He just said that over the radio. And I can tell you right now, that did not look pretty. I didn't like the way that looked from Coffee or Williams. That was a little rough.
Well, we've already advanced over to the second Consi session. That's why that replay cut forward there. Let's see if we can see this again. As Nate, you see right here, Napier got in by, well, just a little bit. Coffee actually DQ'd at the line.
Yep. You know, you can see right here the push from the 30s, just trying to get the 54 to go straight so that way he can make it. He's got to make it, but that contact sent the 54 low. He came back up the racetrack, and that he had room to hold the bottom, but instead he came up and wrecked the 30 car, and that's what took them both out.
So, everybody making sure to build up rivals all of a sudden. So we still have one more Consi to go here. Amongst this pack is Paul Gallimore who will lead this one. Sean Anderson will start in the second position. Brandon Hastings starts in third with Michael S. Tucker in the top 4 in the 36 car. Corey Moore starts 5th with Stephen Williams in the 6th position here tonight with Raymond Root in 7th. Cameron Stone rounds out the top 8. 9th goes to Alex Princeton and Kevin Sosiak, the Ladybug, in 10th.
Starting 11th, Rich Kleinman in the 7th. To his outside, Dave Hoytsman going to try and get to the front. Evan Mesnard in 13th. 14th will be Ralph Hutchinson in the 19. Look out for him. He's going to be fast. Starting in 15th, again, Johnny Avila. To his outside, Jonathan Delaney. 17th tonight will be Ryan Von Henschel. To his outside will be Jeremy Brown. And then finally, rounding out the field, Billy Brickley in the 00. Going to try and come from the back to the front.
Top to bottom in the running order. Who's your pick in this one here, Kirk?
Oh, is anyone starting from the pits? It makes me think of that. You know, I don't know. I could say the one I like to watch from this, keep an eye on Cameron Stone. That guy, he drives aggressive. He's good. Now, as long as he can avoid the chaos, I think he has a good shot. But also, I always like rooting for the underdogs. And I always say the biggest underdog in the series, I always go Billy Brickley. I'm hoping to see him do well, but he's what I consider to be the epitome of underdog. I love it.
So we'll have 20 laps again on the board. Remember, top 6 advance to the main show. Gallimore leads them to the green. We're underway once again. Gallimore actually got a huge jump because they're side drafting so hard here, Kirk. They're losing ground for second.
What a heck of a jump there, but now look out, that the Hastings car. Is he going to choose to go with him, or is he going to try and make a move? Nope, going to choose to hold the bottom. Probably the safest bet right there. Wouldn't want to make a move too early. Checking up in the back of the field. Look out back there. Whew.
Yeah. By the way, we did lose a car. Ryan Von Henschel did have technical issues and immediately lost touch of the pack. So one of the EPI cars has immediately lost the field and will need a caution flag to have a chance here. All that's well. The wheeling and dealing machine of Sean Anderson still leading on high groove here at this point. Corey Moore, one of the drivers again that came over from Moonshiners that races Wednesdays. He tries to be able to work right now with Raymond Root to see if they can stay in sync at the bottom.
Much as fun as it is to see this right now, I mean, they know, they just got done watching a giant race where a lot of big crashes took out a lot of guys, and they now know you can get DQ'd easily. That's why I don't think you're seeing too many guys getting right up on back bumper. Nobody's really pushing too hard. They're kind of taking their time, but they'll right there side draft by Hastings, sends him around and puts the 42 in the grass.
No caution, we stay green. That was Hastings with contact with Anderson. What was that about staying calm?
Yeah, he's supposed to stay calm, but he's side drafting harder than anybody I've ever seen. Holy cow. Front to back, yeah, they got the space, but not side to side.
So just like that, coming to 17 laps to work with on the board. We've lost 3 in the main pack. Things are splintering pretty quickly. Now, the interesting thing about how some of these drivers are going to play out here is some of the different teams, right? Stealth Racing, that alliance with Tucker, Zodiac, and Kleinman actually looks pretty solid here. 2 of those cars are in your transfer spots early on. Kleinman's been a good pusher so far. Tonight's 1-7.
That's true. Definitely a good pusher, but the one I'm looking at is that 13 car. He's the most aggressive side drafter I've seen so far, but right here, look up, going to the top. Leaving the 11 of Gallimore out to dry. 36, Michael Tucker goes to the lead with Raymond Root pushing him.
I don't know why, but he said, "I love you too," over the radio. I think that's because he just got ditched by Raymond Root. And Root goes off to the point with Anderson. Brings Steven Williams with him as well. Dave Hoytsma coming up. And one of the drivers that has to have a good run here, Jonathan Delaney. He tries to go ahead as well here. Jonathan Delaney now having to push the 79. We'll say, as things get chitter-chattery on the radio, some of the drivers really taking things seriously, we'll say, trying to show the real intensity of what they expect coming up for the races, because this is a sprint, not a marathon like it's going to be much of the season.
And it's no longer winning you're in. I am so glad that is the single best rule change in a while, and I'm just glad that that's gone. And you got these guys now, they got to focus on getting top 10s, top 5s, good finishes, trying to win the dang race. But if you win the race, it's still pretty good. Just got to say, it's one of those situations where you never know what's going to happen. I like seeing this outside line, though. Dave is just being committed no matter what. He's trying something. And, you know, Dave's one of those guys that's fun to root for. Dave Hoytsma, that first car on the outside lane. I think about him a lot. He's one of those guys that I'd love to see get a win. His son won the championship, but will he be able to actually come out and win a race one day? I think it's absolutely doable if he keeps doing what he's doing.
So the field now goes single file for the most part. Dave Hoytsma, family member to Lucas, of course. Dave, he's been trying to carve his own path when it comes to the FLCC, to give credit amongst those drivers on the high side back there. He's the one Maconi setup shop back machine in the field tonight. Dave, we know when he's raced, has been okay. Dave looking for his best run back there on the high side. And he's catching up to some of those drivers here because he's getting some decent pushes here.
He just has a trouble getting to the end of the races. That's the number one thing. But right now, doing really well. Trying to make the outside line work. Now he's catching up to the back bumper of a car who went up out of the groove from 4th place. That is actually very surprising. 36 chose, instead of being comfortable in 4th, decided to go up to the top and help Dave a little bit. Try to give him a little bit of a tow. And now Dave's got to push him.
Yeah, they're all losing ground there on the top line all of a sudden. They are not doing well with the new dancing partner for a split second. All sorts back and forth we go as they make their way on through. So we are coming up to 12 laps to go. This is the last consolation race. Top 6 advance to join what's going to be a 20-car field to race for the win in the Clash in 2026. It's Root, Anderson, Williams, Gallimore, Tucker, and Zodiac who are in the transfer spots at the moment. but anything can change in the span of a blink of an eye. And we'll have to see how this outside now forms, because Gallimore in the beast mode machine is ready to lead him. And Gallimore, you have to think, Kirk, wanting a bigger season. He was part-time last year, did well in the teens much of his starts. I'm expecting potential top 10s if they've got the speed in order here in that 11.
Yeah, I think he's going to do fine, but right now he's got a new guy leading that outside line. Sean Anderson ditched Raymond Root and went to the top side. Now he's leading this thing. Paul Gallimore giving it a shot down the back with Tucker also on the back bumper trying to make that outside line work. Not for long as Gallimore goes to the bottom.
Able to jump to the bottom of the racetrack. Anderson to the point for EPI. You have to wonder what that conversation is like in the EPI camp with Murray as they work around so far. Lots of different drivers, lots of different communications, Tower Hunter should say, much those in the backups. But at this point, some of these drivers are going to have to be careful of these pushes. Anderson, or rather Brickley, just about snapped around. He wiggled so hard there in the corner in the 0-0. He's wiggled again.
Yeah, he's got to stay careful. He's kind of all over the place right now. That 0-0 might be an underdog, but he's got to be able to keep the car underneath him to be able to actually go out front. Right now, trying to push Dave. Not really working out for him.
Yeah, right now, outside's dying off, coming to the halfway point. Don't go up there. A little bit too high. Yeah, that was an rough push.
Yeah, that 0-0's. He ain't kidding. He's trying to get him to the front, but just really aggressive on the exit of these corners.
All sorts of sketchiness for some of these drivers right now. But this is kind of a prelude to what we may see at Daytona in a couple weeks' time when we have the FLCC 500, where we're either going to have the choo-choo train with the stages, or we're going to have side-by-side attempts for the mid-pack in particular. Try and gain the track position for the pit stop. Then you have to pit stop. Then you try and battle for the points. You still, of course, have the full distance. But, of course, no win. But there is still the prestige of winning the FLCC, because it's one of those races that are those crown jewels you want to be able to come away with. And having good speed to unload with in Daytona Beach, Florida, Kirk, is so critical. You cannot enter the month of February with a car that is not up to snuff. You cannot play catch up, because it's going to hurt you if you are not able to immediately adapt.
Yeah, absolutely. Corey Moore getting out of the way of the main pack, but I could say one thing about this. Last year, we saw Patrick Gitter go to the final lap of that FLCC 500 and take the victory, and that's something that you don't forget. It's something you live that's with you now. I mean, you're part of the full-length Cup Challenge, and you are a champion of the FLCC 500, the biggest race of the year. And that's what it's all about. Forget the championship. FLCC 500 is one of the biggest things that you want to get, because you get a trophy, you get a nice flag. It's something that's really cool, and bragging rights too, because you know it's the biggest race of the guys who choose to sign up. It's so difficult to win, to be able to survive from the beginning to the end. You saw how difficult it is to survive just 20 laps in that first, consolation race. But now, this row, look out, man! They are so pushing so hard still. 0-0, the 79, Zodiac. These guys are just really trying to make that outside line work, but these guys are really chaotic pushers.
One more quick point when it comes to that conversation with the races, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to last year's FLCC 500 with Gitter, it took him all the way until Talladega at the end of the season to get a second win. That's how long it took for him to reestablish momentum after having a race contending car all season. That's going to be a challenge this year to see, can someone start off the year with the pain and then carry it with the points to be able to make the chase in 2026. Look at the 3 wide though in the back of the field, coming up to 6 to go.
Yeah, people are they're starting to get antsy. They know. Now Delaney leads the outside line with Cameron Stone. These guys, keep an eye on them all race. They've been moving methodically, keeping care of the car. And now they're moving to the top, and another one moves up to the top. That looks like it is the 51 of Raymond Root trying to make the outside line work.
Yeah, look at that, trying to be able to march ahead He's bringing Jonathan Delaney with him. He's bringing Cam Stone with him. He's bringing Ralph Hutchinson with him. A flurry of sparks in the heart of the field. A slide up for Gallimore to block. Coming to 5 laps to go this time. Anderson still being pushed very well at the bottom, but the numbers are near even on the lines now.
It's anybody's race. They just can't side draft too hard. I can't look. I'm so scared, these guys. We're getting to the end of this thing. Got to keep the car underneath it. Come on, guys. Come on.
Here comes Gallimore. Had to burp the throttle. Does he clear himself? Yes, he does. And now here comes Raymond Root's turn. Got a big cushion ahead, but watch for Delaney to give him a huge shot coming through either the corner exit or the backstretch. It's going to be the corner. Near even for the back straight away as they rumble all the way on down. Triple car tandem. Stone trying to get himself the edge. Root. He'll now clear, and now it's Delaney's nearly spinning. Delaney got loose in the entry of 3. That could be interesting to watch for.
One heck of a save. Holy cow. Keep it underneath you guys. Here we go. Coming to get 4 laps to go. Anything can happen. Anybody can win it. The top 6 are the only ones that advance.
4 laps to go. The march is on. Who gets the poke to be able to try to advance? Stone right now is your transfer car. Ralph Hutchinson is the first one out. Stone ditches Delaney. Delaney now has to work with Root and hope for the best there. The inside, yet again, the line. As Stone elects to move in front of the 6 car. Williams moves in front of Stone on the order.
I think right there, that was intentional. I think Stone wanted to be the car that's getting pushed, not the car that's the pusher. He intentionally went down when he had a chance, and now he's got one of the best super speedway racers on his back bumper, and maybe he can get a shot up towards the front.
Less than 3 to go. Williams not able to clear on by Stone. He's right now trying to bring that forward ahead. The 57 with Delaney sealed up to the nose. Hutchinson to give the assist on the high side. Right now, they have one factor that may come in on the last lap. It should be worth noting. Hastings and Von Henschel are right up the road. They may reach lap traffic, Kirk, on the last lap. It could be close.
We'll have to keep an eye out for it, but it can most certainly play a factor. Last couple lap cars like Corey Moore got out of the way, but we'll see what they choose to do. Man, side by side, you saw right there, Michael Tucker made the move to get up in front of Cameron Stone, and that is what the difference is right there. That pushed all 3 of those guys up to the front in the 19 car of Ralph Hutchinson's involved in this 4-way push.
In Cam Stone, they trust on the push. 3 cars move down. A 4th try to fall down in Hutchinson. Coming up to the white flag this time by. They will get dropped from the lap cars coming out through 1 and 2. Tucker and Stone in front. Root now has help from another precision power plant. The RHM of Hutchinson pushes Root coming to the white flag this time through. Final time around, Delaney thought about the high side. Lap cars in disagreement. 1 goes on the apron, 1 goes up top.
Hastings got out of the way. But, oh, there goes Gallimore. Big one, big crash going into turns 2. They're all around. Dave Hoitzman involved. Gallimore, Zodiac. You got Jeremy Brown involved. Ralph Hutchinson, Sean Anderson spinning still. And just a whole calamity of cars going around. But let's keep up towards front. This ain't over yet. Look at the top spot.
Here comes Delaney on the high side. He takes the race lead. Root tries to clear as well. Near contact for second, but it's Jonathan Delaney with the chaos who will get the Consi win. Root, Tucker, and Stone advance, but behind them it's Brickley, it's Princeton. Avila tries to use the one move no one else has used tonight. Avila on the apron couldn't get there. Princeton gets the last spot in.
Wow, man. That was wild right there. Big wreck, took out a lot of guys, but up front, Delaney shows why he is one of the best at the super speedways. He was able to avoid the calamity and take the win there. And also think about this, underdog Billy Brickley made the run. He's there. Cameron Stone, the guy I called at the beginning, he made it in. That's awesome. Let's take a look at that wreck. Contact there, the 13 car pushing too hard on Paul Callamore. Took out a lot of cars.
Pure calamity on the last lap here that ends up causing it to where some of the drivers involved in that last wreck, Kirk, had to drag race to get to the end of that one. And so, that sets your field of 20 cars to include the following competitors here as a result. Those drivers will now include Duggar, Hill, Wood, Hodgson, Scherer Jr., Pearson, Galata, Gossett, Taylor, Delaney, Anderson, Root, Mullins, Tucker, Porter, Stone, Hunter, Brickley, Napier, and Princeton are the 20 that will now get ready for 20 laps, 20 cars, one winner. Cautions do count, Kirk.
What it's all about. We've gotten down to the big time, and I think that here in just about 4 minutes, we're going to find out how this is going to start and who's going to win the thing.
So, these drivers will get the chance to make sure everything equipment-wise is set to go here. This is going to be an intense race, to say the very least. I think it's a decent opportunity to see, to speak with a couple of the drivers here. Why do we take that chance? Because as these drivers go, one of the drivers that is going to be someone to watch for here, want to get the word in if we can before we take a quick step away here with the driver who has started the pole here, because this is a newcomer, Alan Duggar. Let's see if we can take the opportunity to speak with him here. Alan, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, you made a good statement to introduce yourself to those who may have not known your name before. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good. Got a fast car. I couldn't made that move without Tyler following me right there at the end, so I thank him for going with me there.
So you're a new name, I believe, to the Ryko camp here, a part of the factory side here for this series. What brought you to the FLCC, and how's it been working with Ken Byron?
It's been good. It's been a lot of fun. I knew they was running it and was able to get in here, and here we are.
Simple as that. And you have a lot of teammates here in the race. What's your approach going to be as a team when we go racing here in a few minutes?
Gonna work together. See what happens.
Once you get back to your team, good luck here tonight.
Thank you, sir.
On Duggar, perspective here, straight to the point on the thought process here. A part of what he's expecting here tonight. The driver, they'll start to the outside of the front row as well here. Paul Hill will be looking to try and focus forward. He's one of the Bigfoot chassis machines. And, of course, one of the championship contenders this past season. Paul, getting the chance to quickly talk with you here. You're on the outside front row for the clash coming up. What's your approach going to be?
Just survive. I think every single one of these heat races, there's been some sort of incident that's wiped out quite a few folks. So steer clear of that first wreck and hope you're in position in the last 5 to do something. So I'm going to try to work with Joe here. I only got one teammate tonight and figure it out.
You mentioned that there's the attrition that's popped up. What's been the toughest thing all night to prepare things out in the midst of these races?
I think with this new model on this vehicle, you can't not push aggressively. And so it's hard to be perfect every single push. And it's kind of hard to predict when the push is going to be bad on your outside when you're worried about the person you're pushing in front of you. So a little bit of luck, a little bit of trust on your competitors around you is about all you can do and hope for.
So you mentioned having the one teammate here. What else is going to be the approach here coming up here as we get ready for a sprint?
Survive. Just not get caught up in the random wreck. So that's my plan. Just make it to the end, make it to the checkered. Hopefully, be in position to do some fun stuff with Joe, and maybe we'll sneak away with a win here.
Get back to your team. Good luck here tonight, Paul.
Thank you, sir.
Paul Hill, Bigfoot Chassis Collective is the organization. So those drivers get set to go. So there's thought processes there. So Kirk, I'll head over to you now. As these drivers get ready, some different team members. You have a lot of Ryko cards in the hands of Duggar up the front row. Hill, not as many. Others have no friends. This is going to be a wild one.
Yes, a lot of wild cards I didn't actually expect to see make it all the way down to the end. That really surprised me. Wesley Napier, for example, driver I didn't really expect to see make it all the way to the end, but he was able to survive and be one of the cutoff guys in that first B main, that last chance qualifier. Billy Brickley, another name that pops out at me. I'm seeing, looking through the rest of these finishers here. I mean, Matthew David Wood, I've never heard of him before. This is the first time I've seen him out here, and he's going to be rolling off third. I mean, I think it's really cool to see some of these new guys have a chance to show us what they got. But, of course, you got Alan Duggar coming in as well, starting on the pole. We already heard from him. I'm excited, and I think we need to see the starting lineup here before we get started here, Justin.
Yes, these drivers all getting geared up, ready to go for tonight. 20 cars, 20 laps for the FLCC Clash. Duggar is on the pole with Hill. We spoke with those drivers moments ago on their approaches to this race. But it's going to be interesting where the rest go, because Road 2 features Matthew David Wood, Nolan Hodgson, a series veteran. Then it's Everett Shore Jr. who will start in the 5th spot. Neil Pearson starts in 6th position. 7th goes the way of Joseph Galata. 8th is Tommy Gossett's spot. He matches his car number this race. Jason S. Taylor starts off with the 9th spot with Jonathan Delaney rounding out your top 10 curve.
11th place here, starting line. Let's take a look here. Bobby Anderson in the 5-car owner of the league. To his outside, Raymond Root will be trying to get to the front. Starting 13th, Cliff Mullins in that 44 car into the outside. Michael Tucker in the 14th spot. Then 15th will be Cody Porter in the 04, and to his outside, Cameron Stone trying to see if he can get another win here. 17th, Tyler Hunter, quick car. We'll see how he does. Billy Brickley to his outside, underdog for this thing. 19th, Wesley Napier, and to his outside, Alex Prince. We got ourselves a heck of a field lined up here. They're going down the backstretch with 1 to go. Man, what do you think, Justin?
I think we're going to see a wild race here coming up. It might have a bit of calmness with some of the drivers single file for a little bit, but I think this field is going to be hungry to see, can they get themselves to the checker flag here. And oh, by the way, again, remember the cautions count. Green, white checkers unlimited as well in this race, in case we get to that point. Still 9 incident points to think about. You better stay out of trouble here, Kirk, because I think these drivers are ready to rev up those engines out of 4.
Oh, here we go. Let's take a look at that whole field, shall we? Not the corner. There we go. Let's see if we can get a good shot from the sky here. Coming out of turn number 4, these guys are reaching down, pulling them belts tight. One more time. Here we go. Pace car is going to go ahead and make a good old dive down into the pit lane. Here we go from Daytona. It's the clash of the full-length Cup Challenge through that restart zone. Buggity, buggity, buggity. Let's go racing, boys.
Back straight away they go. Paul Hill leads things off at the front of the field on the outside. Duggar on the inside. Drivers trying to work with some competitors they haven't raced against yet here tonight. But now, nobody willing to just simply dive to the inside. They're trying to force the lanes to work. In fact, everybody stayed in the lines they originally started in as they stay hyper-competitive.
Man, so much side drafting up front. You can see it already side by side. Oh, contact. Look out. They're wrecking right up in the front of the field. 2 cars in the wall. Looks like only 3 or 4 cars, not for long. There we go. More cars involved. Jedi Taylor. You see the 8-car route. And more cars trying to avoid through the grass, bouncing all over the place. What a rough way to start this thing.
Oh boy. Some tempers flaring over the radio. Let's take a look at this one, Kirk. Break this down.
Yeah, right here, you're looking at it from high above. These guys are side drafting way too hard. And the thing is, there's guys off the yellow line. There's guys trying to side draft thinking there's enough room. And then up ahead of this, a car got in the grass and he kept the throttle going, came back up and clipped somebody. They all got sideways trying to avoid. Guys tried going through the grass. Let's just take a look at that again. Let's see if we can get a little closer if possible. I gotta say, it's the best we can get right here.
Yeah, I think Hodgson actually came down right here.
Oh yeah, you see it. Oh my goodness, heavy hit there. I'm looking at it here on my screen, and I could. Let's see here. It looks like I'm looking at it on my screen here. I could tell you right now that the car on the bottom was Edward Shearer Jr. He had about a half a car length to the yellow line on the bottom. And I think that Nolan, seeing that he had his right side tires right on that black top, thought he had more room to the bottom, which is why he went lower. And the cars below him had a little bit of room as well. So that 94 was just offset ever so slightly. And it was enough to where when that contact was made, the 94 got real sideways, went down low, and the 99 was just right behind him. He had nowhere to go. So the 99, you can see right here what's going to happen. We're on board now with Edward Shearer Jr. You can look here. He's going to have a little bit of room. He's going to be pushed up higher than the car in front of him right here. And that contact got turned by Galata on the outside, and that sent him and Neil Pearson. Let me make sure I got that right. I think it is Neil. Yep, Neil Pearson up into the wall. And when that happened, this wasn't it, though. We also had a car go airborne. Holy cow. Can we get a view of Tommy Gossett going into the grass? Because that guy ramped the grass.
Yeah, that was it. Let's see this again, because he did try and dodge here, but he did slide up into Taylor.
Right here, look at this. Just, you know, but oh my gosh. I'm gonna put a Mario sound effect jumping right there in the highlight reel after this. That's something that I think is just so funny. Hate to see it for the team and everybody, but wild jump.
We just had a crash under caution, I think, because I think Michael S. Taylor just got hit in the rear for whatever reason by Bobby Anderson, because Tucker hit the back end of Raymond Root, and Raymond Root's car is broken.
What are we talking about?
It was here. It was here.
Under caution?
Yes. And we just had a lot of confusion pop up here. 3 cars slammed into each other here. And
oh no, this is bad.
Have you ever heard of the phrase, let's pay attention to what's going on in front? It's well past where we are now.
I'm trying to find it here.
Yeah, right here. We'll go back a little bit and watch this.
Oh my gosh. Who's that car? Who's that car second pacing in line? That's the whole cause of this.
Well, second in line, that would be... Gonna have to double check because that's nowhere.
I got it. Paul Hill. It was Paul Hill. Yeah, you saw the gap. Paul hit the brakes. He stopped. Everybody behind him didn't know he was stopping. They didn't understand what he was doing. Everybody else was maintaining pace speed, but Paul Hill most certainly did not.
And you're not gonna like the reason he was slow, by the way, that caused all this. He was trying to warm up his tires.
Well, you know, I'm fine with warming your tires, but you're not supposed to slam on the dang brakes and create that big of a gap. That's huge, and that's something that I guarantee you folks ain't going to look nicely on. You know, obviously it's not a points-paying race, so it's not a huge deal, but I could definitely say it does not look pretty when you do something like that. That's just dumb. Not a very smart thing to do.
So we have 15 to go at the stripe. As we get set to go, Duggar and Hill, Wood and Hodgson, Delaney and Tucker with significant damage. Then it's going to be Mullins and Brickley.
Oh, also, wait, hold on a second. After all that happened, on the backstretch, Cameron Stone pulled up side by side with Paul Hill, and he just rode right next to him for the entire backstretch, and then he rubbed on him. So there was a little anger from the 57. He was mad.
Yeah, that's called telling the driver you did not appreciate what they pulled here.
Yeah, it was down the backstretch after the whole checkup. Speed it up a lot farther. Let's see if we can.
Well,
I think this may have been the lap after. This may have been the lap later. We might need to go back.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time getting the repairs done, but at least near half the field involved in that incident here.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll try this again. 15 to go. And right now, Alan Duggar is trying to have a really good debut. Let's put it that way. First start in this series, has led most of his laps in it so far in the 10 car. Hill starts alongside in his Toyota, a part of that Hornet's Nest here. Looks like majority, in fact, just about everybody except for Cam Stone, Raymond Root, have caught up to the pack. Restart zone, and the push comes this time from Wood. We're backing away.
See, it's a lot smaller field than what we had before. I mean, it feels like it most certainly is. It may just be one or two cars missing, but still feels smaller knowing everybody was on the bottom.
So the top three move on by as they clear on through. Here comes Hill with the help of Hodgson on their boost. To the outside, Wood jumps up. He tries to get ahead. The SLOW machine trying to get the edge. Team's last hope up to the point. Most of his accolades he has are on the road side here, Kirk. So on the oval side, looking to try and say, I can drive here too.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm thinking that this is so cool to see this Matthew David Wood guy, though, leading this race. 16 car, I like it a lot. Now, if he could somehow come out of here with a win, that'd be phenomenal. But he's got a lot of good talent all around him, so he's got a ways to go to the end. But just trying to maintain where he is probably going to be his #1 goal right now.
So at this point, the lines back and forth in terms of the momentum swings here, with some of the drivers going to have issues being able to push. Tucker going to have issues pushing. Delaney going to have issues being pushed and pushing. Sort of the damage. Curious where some of these drivers handle this. You can see everyone trying to be very careful with the edges of these cars to make sure they don't tip themselves. The bottom taken down by the top two, and that opens the door for the only independent left, Kirk. Brickley has nobody to work with. He doesn't even have an in-sim spotter. He's up in the front.
I tell you what, I said from the get-go, Billy Brickley is the biggest underdog in this thing. If he's able to win this, that would be phenomenal. Let's keep it going.
Oh, apologies there on the radio coming from Hodgson. Obviously, something not lining up as you've seen right there. He apologized because he had to back off, and that really slowed things down a touch. And all of a sudden, Brickley in control. 12 laps to go with Galata and Hunter ready to ditch him.
Rewind back in the pack a little bit. One car had to get pushed up to the outside. I believe that is the 52 of Wesley Napier again, getting up out of the way right now. Top of 3.
Yeah, Napier trying to find a way to make new inroads. The problem is no one wants to go on his road.
Whoa!
No one wants to work with... Yeah.
Sorry, up through the middle.
Yeah, that was the 94 shooting their way on through, was it not?
Absolutely. Man, these guys are making moves that are, I'd say, for the last 5 laps, not 11 laps to go.
Let's take a look at this here real quickly. Takes the Hardy cut. Door open. Why not?
You know, as much fun as the whole term "if gap car," I don't necessarily like that phrase at all. Man, you know, they choose to do it, but we'll see if that's going to be something that will keep the car around long term.
I mean, have you ever interacted with Danny Weberhart on the racetrack? If you leave that gap, he takes you 3 wide every time.
Yep, heard about that. No
Makes
doubt.
you learn how to drive close to cars and not just leave the gap. Side draft has to be critical.
There's thousands of ways to win a race. There's many more on how to lose them, and so I mean, sure, some things might work, and for one person, one thing might work for another. But what we're looking at right now is I'm watching this outside line, and again, we're having that problem where it's just not going towards the front right now. That's mostly because we got Joseph Galata, one of the fastest cars that most likely are out there. He was one of the fastest cars on the speedways last. Oh, we got a car on the apron there. He saved it, but again, Galata still leading this thing. He's got speed in that car, and he's able to lead a line better than some.
Under 10 laps to go, coming up to 9 this time through. The push is on once again for Wood. The rookie gets some assistance to try and get ahead. Now, also boxed in Porter. Several of the rookies with some good showings here tonight as they've gotten the boxing gloves out to be able to compete up in the front. But Galata, does he try and block this run, or does he stick to the bottom? It looks like he isn't going to play Pied Piper mode. He's going to try just side draft him.
Wow, man, that 16 car. Whoa, hang on to it. He made it clear. He was able to get clear, but man, that 16 car up front at Daytona, man, that brings a little bit of a tear to my eye. That's awesome.
Yes, indeed. Back up in the front goes the Greg Biffle front 16. Lap 13, and Brickley has nobody willing to help. Scherer Jr. just pushed him out of the way. Look who's up behind him, though. One of the drivers that just made it in the show. Lunar Racing Performance, Alex Princeton. Let's take a look at Brickley. As well, see the little bobbles? Push, push, and a bobble. Out of the way you go.
Yeah, he was pushing not as straight as some folks would like, so unfortunately that sends Brickley out. We'll see if he's able to make his way back to the front. He was able to do it before. Why not do it again? And they're coming up on some lap traffic. Yeah, well, I was about to say same exact thing. Look at the new leader up front, though.
It's Galata again. And look who they're getting draft from. Cam Stone has stayed up topside. This allows a huge run of 194 down into the corner this time rather than just 190 that we're seeing much of the pack. Hodgson elects to take a risk, though. It looks like he's got things where he wants them. Watch that outside groove. The Ryko cars have now hooked up. They're going to have to try and find a way ahead, but it's still some of the others shuffling in front because they're still bogged down too much. Here it comes, Wood this time. 6 to go at the stripe.
Remember, guys, these are all open sets, so each car has its own particular setup. Sure, they got different teams backing them. Sure, some of them might have built it themselves or made it work themselves, but now it's all a matter of test. How well does your car handle in the draft? And up front, that 16's back to the front. Man, that car, he can get past and then get right back up to the front every few laps. It's kind of fun to watch.
Look at this, though. His team boss, Cody Porter. He's now lined up with him. And now you have the machines that chose the acronym of slow, now proving they are fast, as people would expect with their camp. With 5 laps to go, the Express Esports / Outlier cars are 1-2 at the front of the field, but the Ryko cars continue to get shuffled behind those pushing right in front of them. That includes Galata, the setup builder for Bigfoot.
Gotta say right there, these guys are just... I love the aggression, but you could tell right there that outside line, the 26, the 48, and the 99, they're all working in tandem and sync, and they're just doing things, and they are manipulating this race. I mean, not in a bad way, but they are controlling is a better word to say, not manipulating. I'd say controlling this race better than anybody.
4 to go. Look at this, Tower Hunter. I don't think that's going to work out the greatest. That, in fact, just set up things for Hill and Galata to work together here. Not sure I think Hunter just may have played himself here in the EPI car.
I don't know. I think that outside line's going to get a good run here. We'll see what happens. Oh, they found a hole. Got back in.
Resets again. 3 laps to go. Lots of communication. Now this is where Raiko wants to be after about 5 laps of attempts. Will Hodgson be able to work ahead with Duggar? Hodgson, last season contended all season long, was one of the top drivers of 2025. The youngster now takes the lead with 3 laps to go. Do they try and play the lanes, try and hug both? No, they stay up high side.
I mean, there's nowhere to go right now. These guys are 2 by 2, but they got to get a 3rd lane. They got to try something. If you're not a part of this top 4, you need to get up to the 3rd lane, try to get a push, try to get somebody to go up there with you. And it looks like one tried to look that way, but not quite yet. Again, coming to get 2 laps to go when they cross the stripe.
Hodgson last season picked up 2 wins, a part of the campaign. He now looks to try and get the first win on the board in the clash. He gets the edge down in the corner, but look at the problems. We have a wreck in the back of the caution's out. We're going to green-white checker territory. Tempers. And all of a sudden, Billy Breckley is destroyed, and his chances are toast.
Man, Underdog. Hate to see it. Man, he had a good shot, too. He went up to the top, and he just got loose. That was wild. I mean, that car must be really loose setup once it hits clean air. Who's disqualified? Is it Delaney?
Jonathan Delaney just got himself disqualified here with the incident points.
What happened here to the 6 car? Let's keep an eye on the 6 here. He didn't even do anything.
You know how it happened? You see him, he's bumper to bumper with Gossett?
Yeah.
That was where Brickley's car bounced off. So the theory is this. Brickley gives the 4X here, and then the 4X counts to because the contact to the 6.
Yep. I'm sure that there's a lot of things that could be said regarding that, but nothing that would actually spark any change. They're pretty dead set on how they like to run their incident. So, if they don't want to fix what's broken, then so be it. They're still making money anyway, so why would they change it?
Okay. On that note, then. Jason S. Taylor, Cliff Mullins, Billy Brickley, heavy damage repair. Hodgson is up front, working with Galata and Duggar in terms of their game plan here. Well, here's how it works. Green-white checker territory. If we get to the white flag, it's a race to the checkered. That's the simple part. If we get a caution flag before the white, we'll re-rack them and stack them. Unlimited essentially means 15 available. We have 40 minutes. If we keep wrecking and do what was the clash back around 2020, 2021-ish, we can get a lot of burnt-up race cars, but we're not likely to get there. Usually these restarts with green-white checkers have got into the white flag, so as long as they don't step on each other here, Kirk, we should see a clean run. How that run goes is up to the pack.
Justin, I think right now the biggest thing that we got to talk about is up front. The entirety of the top 4 working together as a team, this Ryko group, they are just leaps and bounds better at whatever the heck they did there to get to the front. They were able to manipulate the car, their own car, get them in the right spot, and they were able to control both the outside and the inside lane, the top 2 cars. That is huge. Once you have that, you are nearly impossible to beat, because if someone were to wreck the car sitting in 3rd or 4th, the pushers, there's still nothing they can do. Nothing they can do at all. You just don't get the 1st or 2nd place cars. So no matter what, I think it would be a very difficult task for anyone in the field to beat Raikko after that, after how they're going to line up on this restart.
It's going to be an interesting time, absolutely, here for these drivers. Let's see if we can get a quick game plan in real quick from Nolan Hodgson. Nolan, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
How are you liking your new digs in Raikko, first of all?
I mean, it seems to be working pretty well. You know, we've been kind of working together pretty good, and we've been, you know, kind of weaving our way back to the front. I mean, there's been times, obviously, where it kind of looked bleak for a little bit, but then we pushed our way up to the front of the pack, and here we are in the lead.
So what has Ken and the rest of your teammates been telling you over the radio over the course of this race in terms of the game plan to get your team to the victory lane?
Generally, it's, you know, kind of what you'd expect about where everybody else is, and, you know, who's helping and where they're helping, and, you know, there's different things that we can kind of work out in terms of, you know, when to push, when to not push, all those things, just communicating with each other where everybody's at and all that. But other than that, I mean, it's kind of just work together and see what we can do.
So it's Raikko on the inside for the first 2 rows. It's Bigfoot Chassis Collective on the outside. What's it going to take for your line to win?
I mean, it's going to take a lot, honestly. I mean, obviously, I was with Joe and Paul, so I know them, and they're very good at pushing each other, and they're very good plate racers in their own right. So we're going to have to work together. Hopefully we get some help from behind to help us out and get a good restart here. Try to put us in our best position possible.
Good luck on the restart.
Thank you.
Nolan Hodgson to the game plan. And as he said here, Kirk, to add the intrigue, his former teammates are next to him with the restart.
I just heard over the radio someone asking if this race could go longer. I'm like, well, you got a whole season for that, pal. You're going to have full-length races all the way up until November. Maybe if you want to see some longer races, be sure to stick around. February 14th, I believe it is, we're having the FLCC 500. It's going to be one heck of an event. And I will be at the real-life Daytona race, so unfortunately I won't be in the booth, but you'll hear Justin and another one of the Maconi Entertainment broadcasters in here putting on a good show. I just know it's going to be worth watching, but I'm already going to be at the real race hanging out with Jeff Maconi for a little while. We'll see how it goes, but this restart here is going to be pretty big. 3 laps to go, coming through turns 3 and 4. Who's going to get it?
This is going to be a green-white checkered finish, our first attempt for the Clash 2. Hodgson and Galata on the front row, Duggar on with Hill in the row 2. Jur Jr. and Porter in row 3, Hunter and Wood row 4. Green flag is out. 5 miles to the side from Daytona, and the outside is not going. The inside, though, is not hooked up.
Bobby Anderson makes it 3 wide. He's got help from the 36 of Michael Tucker. They're going to make it 3 wide through the corner here. Not going to make it work there. Up to the top. Look at that. Car trying to make it work. That is Edward Shearer Jr. No help from behind. And here comes the push on the outside.
Galata forced to help on the 94. Here comes the block. Huge contact. Hodgson gets turned. Now Duggar gets turned. A crash in front of the whole field. At least 3-4 cars get disqualified with incident points as Hill slides down the banking. And our second green-white checker attempt's coming up as the 94 leads it.
No, man, what a wreck. Going up the block. And then contact there sends Nolan around. And I thought I saw only really 3 cars that did not have to go to the apron that made it through that wreck. Kind of sketchy to say the least. But let's look right here. Here's another angle of it from the front stretch. Wow. Huge wreck in 3 and 4.
And you think about it, though, from two different ways here. On one hand, Hodgson absolutely had to pull that block because he's likely losing the lead into 3 if he doesn't block the outside. The other is, that move right there was to check up, I think, but it's obviously going to turn them around because they're offset pushed.
You know, there was a save that I'd like to get a view of. The 16 car. Once we get a chance, yeah, let's take a look on board first to see what the pusher saw. Here he comes. He's got to push from behind. He's going to get that momentum. 12's going to come up, and then the 12's going to, well, he kind of got pushed at the wrong spot, and that's what sent his car down to the inside. But definitely a incident that wasn't fun to watch. But look at the 16 car. Yeah, right here, 16 car. He saved the race car after this crash. If we could go from behind or just something right here, you're going to see it in turns 3 and 4. Watch this right here. Wait for it. Contact, kept it straight, and he was able to keep the car going. That was awesome. Let's show that wheel action, too, if we can, a little bit. Sees the wreck in front of him, gets hit in the left rear, gotta save it until he's on the apron. Definitely helped him a little bit, but the car still has a straight steering wheel, so I think that's a win if you ask me.
So, again, as you see the last of the save, the DQs include Napier, Gossett, Tucker, Hodgson. I believe Berkeley also a part of that list too. May have been already the DNF list, but we got a couple of them. You see all of them marked in the black. Also a pit stop for Jason S. Taylor previously. He just came after 7 minutes of repairs. He's just trying to finish the race. Duggar, Hill, Porter, and Stone are also down pit road. So it's down to 7. Schurer Jr., Galata, Princeton, Hunter, Wood, Root, and Anderson are the ones left with clean race cars or somewhat functioning cars here, Kirk.
Gotta say, I mean, altogether, these guys are very lucky to have made it as far as they have. What looked like a guaranteed win for Ryko guys ended up being now where anybody could still win the race, all because of some blocking here and there, some bad pushes. I mean, it's what you expect. It's Daytona at the end of the race. You got guys trying to win the dang thing. They're willing to do whatever it takes. It's not for points. Third place is not going to pay anything for me. I want to win the race. That's what most people would want to do. And now we're down to just a handful of cars that actually have a shot here. And looking at the list, I mean, we could really talk about it pretty straightforward. You got Edward Schurer Jr. leading this thing. Galata in second, no doubt about it, has speed. Alex Princeton in the 9 had a heck of a year this last year. Not necessarily the best thing that he was looking for, but he's back, sitting in third with a good shot of winning the Clash. Right behind him, Tyler Hunter, also now with the EPI guys. He's doing something that's absolutely wonderful to watch. And then if you go behind him, Matthew David Wood, the rookie, 16 car, Greg Bifflepaint. I think that would be really cool to see him get the job done. Raymond Root, he's came off of a part-time season last year, now out here has a chance at it. Bobby Anderson, owner of the league. I got to tell you, this guy has the ability to get involved in these crashes, but he still finishes these races really well. If you look at his statistics for the super speedways, it's kind of telling. He gets involved in an accident or two, but he still stays out there. He never gives up, and he still gets top 10s. And I think that's going to help him all year round for Bobby Anderson. It's going to be fun to watch him. But after that, I don't think that we actually have anyone else other than Cameron Stone that's on the lead lap. You really only have 8 cars that are out there on the lead lap still have a shot.
So this is going to be another dramatic restart. So throw away everything about everyone keeping it clean usually off the first lap of a restart. We're going to have to sort things out again. Schurer Jr. up in front as said. And talking about the team alliances, well, there is none in terms of the partnerships together, in terms of those grouped together left, Kirk. How do you play this now if you're up at the front because you're going to have to get a push from somebody that's not your teammate?
Block, 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 block constantly. You're not gonna let anybody go on by you, and you use it strategically. But I mean, it's really luck of the draw. This is where super speedway racing becomes less of a chess match, more of luck. Let's see who's able to, have lady luck on their side as that pace car is going to go ahead, dive down into the pits. We got, I think, 3 or 2 laps to go. We'll see when they cross the stripe. Here we go.
Here we go. Green flag is out. 2 laps to go. Back underway as the 94 pulls up in front. Now blocks off the outside. Right now, you can see Jura Jr. and Galata working on the high side with Hunter now in the push. Princeton still having a hard time getting himself up to pace on the bottom side. Does anybody force it 3 wide here to get around the 94? Watch for a poke soon.
They all stay single file on that top side. Only 1 goes down, 2 goes down. Now it's going to be up front Galata with a push from Raymond Root on the bottom. Coming and get the white flag. 1 lap to go. They're 3 wide at the back. But up front, it is Galata.
Galata tries to hold on with the help of Root. Jura Jr. He looks to try and make his name known after the chaos so far tonight. Who gets the edge down the back straightaway? Galata gets the poke inside. Now the outside. Jura Jr. getting pushed around.
Come on.
Offside set pushes. Hunter still keeping on the bumper. Temperature is going to be a concern pretty soon for the 48. Jura Jr. still getting pushed offset. Still side by side for the edge. Coming out of turn 4. Jura Jr. He gets fully clear of Galata. Hunter tries to go down. Gets turned around. It's Jura Jr. who wins the clash.
Wow, man. A huge crash at the line. Multiple cars are DQ'd.
A bunch of DQs at the line, and it's the 94 who gets it done. Galata second, and I believe Princeton third. My, oh my, what a finish.
Did everything he could there at the end. The 48 Tyler Hunter tried everything he could. He tried to make a move down to the bottom, but got blocked. Cameron Stone hit him in the right rear, and everybody gets DQ'd. We don't even get to see the wreck. No! Man, that's sad. But you see right there, that 94 did the right thing on the restart. He chose to block the top, and that ended up being the decision that won him the race. One heck of a job to be able to get that done. But, man, you got to feel for it because this is a very difficult race to win. And, Edward, you got it done, pal.
What a wild end to this one. After some drama, some craziness, some intensity. In the end, at least half the field goes poof at the end. But in the end, the 94 is the one who survives to be able to burn it on down. The Precision Speed Solutions machine topples them all tonight. I don't know if I had that on my bingo card here tonight, Kirk, to see the 94 be the one to come away with the victory lane with all the star power coming in.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, he ran a part-time season last year, and he's got the rookie tags. So technically, this is his rookie debut. Even though he was a part-time rookie last year, this is his first full-time season. Edward Jura Jr. bringing a win home to Precision Speed Solutions. Kind of surprising to say the least. We had a star-studded event, but a lot of cars got involved in accidents. And that tends to be the difference. But now, this was fun. It's an exhibition race, but we get to the big guns coming up here in a couple weeks when we go to Daytona, baby, for the big old FLCC 500. Good win to Edward here tonight, and we're going to hear from him here in just a moment. But I can tell you right now that the big race, the big season, has only just begun. We got a long way to go, and I think folks are going to start to realize how difficult it's going to be to win a championship after this one.
Celebration time for Edward Jura Jr. Your race winner here at Daytona, the Clash 2, goes the way of car 94. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results. George Jr. and Gallardo, the top two. Princeton, as said, with all the DQs, did hold on for a third place run. Speak with some of those drivers coming up here. Duggar recovers to fourth with Hill in the top five. Everybody else was a DQ or crashed. Root, Hunter, Stone, Wood, Anderson, all out at the end.
Start finishing 11th, Cody Porter, followed by Jedi Taylor, Nolan Hodgson, Michael Tucker, Wesley Napier, Tommy Gossett, Cliff Mullins, Billy Brickley, and Jonathan Delaney, followed by Neil Pearson, 26 laps back.
So I've got the 20 cars that took part in this one. As my, oh my, what a wild race, to say the least. Continue to see a celebration here. We do have some of your drivers standing on by. It was a wild run for Edward Schurrer Jr. Edward Schurrer Jr. comes on into tonight and gets to celebrate with the win of the class. Edward, were you expecting that with some of the craziness?
Maybe just because of the fact that it's Daytona. Yeah, that was such a fun battle all the way throughout. I mean, you know, we built a great setup at Precision Speed Solutions. Big thanks to Alex and Ralph for getting this thing fine-tuned for tonight. Think we just need to make some small tweaks for the 500, and I think we should be good. But yeah, I honestly was just like coming into tonight, I was just trying to see like how everybody raced against each other, and it was hard to begin with. Like the first heat, it was rough. I thought, you know, we weren't going to be as aggressive off rip, but it got aggressive and pretty jumpy from the start. And then just there in the main feature, I don't know, it was just really, really aggressive racing off the jump. But yeah, just a shout out to, you know, Precision Speed Solutions and PayRVA for allowing us the opportunity to race this league, and Bobby allowing me to come up and jump up in the cup. Did a little bit of Xfinity last year, doing it again this year, but doing this full time now too. So kind of got my hands full. But yeah, that was fun. I just want to also apologize to Nolan. I would never do such a thing in the points race. I just did that because, you know, I'm going for, you know, the lead. So I mean, you have to take every spot you can at that rate. But I apologize to Nolan. I'll probably talk to him after this. But it was uncalled for. It was aggressive driving on my part. But I mean, we were all driving pretty aggressive there in the end. So I was just trying to get what I could there in the end.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question in terms of that incident, of course. But in terms of this type of a race, how would you describe that mindset in terms of how different it is now in general compared to what you, as you mentioned, say you would do for the FLCC 500?
Honestly, I think, you know, there's a lot of really good contenders in this league. I did a little bit of spotting here and there from last season, and then this season it's definitely gotten a lot more tougher. I'm not as good as I used to be with this next gen car because I've been spending a lot of time with the B car lately, but I think helping with the B car a lot, you know, taught me better fundamentals on how to manage my stuff to transition over to this car. Um, but I think, you know, I don't see myself basically contending for wins like this, but I mean, you can take what you get, you know, you put your name on the map. But I definitely could see us contending in the points. Um, but I mean, I was gonna go for this no matter what. Like once I got in the top five, I'm like, and I have a shot at this, I'm gonna go for it. So, but yeah, you know, it's fun racing against, you know, top competitors on this series and the sim. So, any chance of the day you can do that, it's pretty cool.
So with that in mind, you mentioned having to make some adjustments car-wise for the FLCC 500. What's the approach going to be in turn for when you have to go 500 miles to start off a brand new season with a crown jewel?
Probably a lot of patience. I know it was hard to see that tonight, but definitely a lot more patience. I think depending on where I start, will dictate usually how I go through that race. You know, super speedway races are technically, you know, I want to say I'm better over at Talladega than I am at Daytona, but here I think I think if you can go get points and you have a chance at that, you do it. I don't know about stage wins because I don't really want to get in that situation to where I might get wrecked. But But I think if you can get points, you get points. But if not, then just try to survive and live to the next stage or to the end of the race. It's all about lasting there in the finish. So I mean, if you can make it to the finish and get a decent amount of points, like I'll be fine with getting like top 10 points in both stages and finishing top 10 in the race. Over a win and no points. But do what you can.
Any shout you'd like to give here tonight once again?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys in the booth for giving a fantastic broadcast. I know you guys do a hell of a job. And again, Precision Speed Solutions, go check us out. PrecisionSetups.gg for your setups. Pay RVA for allowing hopping on board for the car for me and myself and Corey Moore, who unfortunately had a rough night tonight. But yeah, just everybody that helps us, function. We're a small little setup shop team, and we're still growing. Going through some growing pains, but we're starting to get on the map a little bit, and I'm hoping this is one way to get us, further on the map.
Congratulations on the win here tonight, Edward.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it, guys.
Edward Jr. coming away with the W here tonight. Joseph Galata, he ended up coming away with the second spot at the end. He's with Kirk.
Joseph, I gotta tell you, man, you had yourself one fast hot rod again. We always see you. You're up front all the dang time, but tonight just one spot short. Tell me, what's it like coming back here 2026, trying to go for a full-time run? And tell me, how'd your race go and what's your future look like?
Just came up one spot short. Just one. I mean, we put in a lot of work during the off season, the past couple months, and reevaluated some ideologies that we had, and think we found some things for a lot of the tracks up ahead. It just comes down to a lot of testing,
So I got to ask you this. What are your ambitions for the season? Well, are you trying to be somebody who's going to bring home a championship to Bigfoot Chassis Collective, or are you going to be somebody who's just going to go out there trying to win every single race, something like Ricky Bobby type of style? Are you going for championship, or are you just going for wins this year?
If a championship and wins come, they come. If they don't, they don't. I'm just coming out trying to have fun at the end of the day, be as competitive as I possibly can. So it wins don't, they mean something, but they don't mean much. And a championship would be cool, but it's not necessary.
Well, Joseph, I got to say, I love that answer, man. I really do. It's all about having fun. And did you have fun out there tonight?
Oh, yeah. I love plate racing. I've got the beautiful nickname from somebody. I'm the, yeah, I'll just keep that one to myself. But,
oh, come on.
Austin Hill. But, it is what it is, whatever. I'll take that with good faith. But yeah, no, just having fun is the big thing, because a lot of people lose sight when they get really in the grind of this simulator, and I've been doing this a really long time. So yeah, I just want to show up and have fun racing these guys, and hope to put on good races.
Well, it was fun watching you, no doubt. You knew how to control the lines for sure. But again, one spot short. But is there anybody you want to send a shout out to before I let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody from my Bigfoot Chassis Collective that's worked really hard during the off season. I'll even shout out Nolan Hodgson. He was a big help in developing our car, and we lost him to Ryko, and that's okay. I hope he does bigger and better things. And yeah, that's all I really got to say.
Well, that's wonderful. Again, thanks so much for talking to us, and we'll see you at the FLCC 500, man. Hope you have a fun week getting ready for that one.
You got it.
All right. Thank you, man. Back to you, Justin.
Joseph Galata coming away second spot tonight. How about this, though, with the trouble for some of the drivers at the very end? Alex Princeton gets third spot. Alex, how'd you get here?
I'm not sure. I've been on the opposite side of that several times, so it was nice to make my way through a couple big wrecks and find myself on the good side of it for a change.
How do you describe the team dynamic in terms of how you guys were in sync for your respective side here for this race in terms of the survival effect?
Yeah, I was just trying to stay in the back and wait till the last few laps to try to hopefully get through. I knew I didn't have quite have the speed that some of those guys had, but it worked out in the long run anyway.
So how do you feel about your speed for the FLCC 500?
Well, hopefully our team gets a good setup going for next week. I came actually last minute. Actually had forgotten about this race. I was dealing with some family issues with the loss of an uncle and handling his stuff. So I came in and they were like, "Oh, the clash is tonight." So I hopped on, didn't get a setup. I grabbed the old setup and but the setup my teammates had looked pretty good. So I'm ready for that.
So you weren't even on the same setup as your teammates?
No, because I came in last second. I didn't really have time to put anything in.
I love
Gotcha.
Daytona, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes the old setups work.
Yeah, sometimes.
Any shows you'd like to give here tonight?
I just got to thank Selkirk Pickleball, Caribou Coffee for all they do to help me with the pickleball deal, and just everyone on my team give me fast cars, and hopefully they continue this year. Hopefully this is the thing to come.
Congratulations on the run here tonight, Alex.
All right, thank you guys.
Alex Princeton finishes out the top three. I'd like to thank the top three for speaking with us during post-race coverage here on Maconi Entertainment. Kirk, your final thoughts on tonight as the clash? Whoa, they were definitely clashing.
I'll be honest with you, man. Daytona has never changed. You could show up with a setup from last year and somehow, because of the draft, the great equalizer, show up and get a top three out of it. You can show up being somebody who's won multiple races here and then get wrecked out, and you don't get a chance to actually show what your stuff is. And also, it shows a lot of the iRacing flaws that are there, of course, with incident points. But I do got to say, at the end of the day, we got to see a survival of the fittest. These drivers were able to come out here, conquer the racetrack, and come home and get out of here with a win for Edward Shearer Jr. Absolutely something that he's never going to forget. And I guarantee you, next week in the FLCC 500, he's going to have a lot more confidence than he did going into it if he did not win this race.
Indeed, but it's just about time to say goodbye for tonight's action, as these drivers will get ready for more intense racing to determine how the FLCC 500 turns out in a couple weeks' time. But until that point, it's time to say goodbye. For my co-announcer tonight in Kirk Mills, for our producer once again today in Howie Burrows, Justin Prince, thank you for tuning in for tonight. Hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time.